Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Max's Man Cave, episode 67. Let's get the applause in here. Thank you all for being here this evening. And I'm joined by my lovely co hosts, Josh and Drew. And if you guys want to follow these two, I've got both of their links in the description below. You can follow Josh over at Pop by Culture, and you can follow Drew's comic campaign in the links below. Now, gentlemen, I've been doing something this week that I thought was kind of interesting. Every live stream that I've been on, I've been asking this question at the beginning of the stream. What two superpowers would you choose if you could have any two? And what would your choice be? But for people who haven't seen our Friday live show or the Sunday morning live stream, I'll allow you guys to elaborate because I think we talked a little bit briefly about it in the chat. But yeah, Josh, what would your two be and why?
So the answer that I gave Friday and this morning in the chat was telekinesis because I think it's badass. And you can kind of use it to like fly pretty much if you want to. I think flying is overrated. A lot of people are going to say flying, but I don't think people are thinking about. Time out. I don't think people are thinking about the realistic things you would encounter while flying. Like you're going to have bugs and
The
everything
wind
else
and
hitting
rain,
your
yeah.
face. Yeah. You know, I mean, maybe you might increase your protein intake, but yeah, so telekinesis, and I said super strength, but like Cap level super strength, not Superman level super strength.
So that's my big question, because if you do the whole flying thing, like, oh, there's going to be wind in your eyes, and if you hit Mach, Mach speed, whatever, Mach 10, if you hit, like a super massive speed, your body won't be able to handle it, right? But that was the same argument with super strength. It's like, if you have super strength, would your skin be able to take the pressure of something like
You're
punching a car? Your fist would
you're,
explode,
you're
right?
taking you're taking the wrong aspect of this. I'm talking about you fly somewhere, you're getting pelted in the face by bugs, and you show up and you've got like bug guts all over your face.
If you get into a high enough altitude, I don't think you're hitting bugs. You may hit birds, but bugs, I don't think so.
I mean, you're
I don't
hitting
know.
the shit
You're
somewhere.
you're hitting something. But the other thing I wanted to ask you is, why Cap strength? Why not like Superman strength? If
This
you
is
could have super strength, you want the maximum amount, right?
this is more of just a self-awareness of who I am as an individual.
Mm.
And I will preface this by saying I'm a very, very nice guy. I'm a very understanding and reasonable guy, but I have a limit. And even though it's very hard to get me to that limit, once I pass that limit, it's bad. Like I just see red. It's almost like a blackout. And I've had
Oh
a few
wow.
few instances of that in my life. So I just know I don't need Superman strength and have the risk of getting to that limit. So
Because
yeah.
then you're risking potentially demolishing a small town. Like, something happens and all of a sudden this place on the map no longer exists. You've punched it
No,
into orbit.
I wouldn't go in as far as saying a small town, just a person might be missing a head. Like I know
Okay.
I know enough about myself that I'm just like seeing red, rage, like
Yeah.
don't get to that point. So
So you would become Zack Snyder's Superman. You'd be cracking people's necks and ripping their heads off.
pretty much that's
If
why I don't want it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That no, and that's fair. You know what? That's actually a very good point that I didn't think about, and why I kept asking. I was like, why Cap strength when you could have Superman strength? Come on. Um, but
Listen,
that's a good point.
the
So,
only time the only time I've ever heard X-Ray like communicate with me where there was like a tinge of like, oh my god, he's kind of attractive right now, is the time that I referenced I was in a bar fight. And
ooh.
it was on a Sunday morning stream. You were there, but I put in the comments, and she's like, "Oh my god, Josh, I want to hear more." So yeah, bar fights.
She loves that stuff. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Uh, what about you, Drew? What would you choose and why? I know we kind of spoke about it a little bit on Friday, but I think yours are really unique. I don't think many people would probably choose your two.
Yeah, like the one of them I would like would be immortality. I just think that, to really experience that would be fun. In my opinion, just to really see what that would really truly be like. I mean, we've seen it in film, namely Highlander, but I'd like to see what that's really like. And the other one is body possession, like Dead Man, being able to possess someone and just being able to do stupid shit with them, making them look like absolute jackasses, or just whatever it takes. And that'd be fun.
Huh. Okay. So you'd almost like to make a mockery of them as opposed to completely killing them. I guess.
Namely politicians. But
Oh, well, then you would puppeteer the politicians by Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what's currently going on with the current administration. So you're probably not far off. But
I was about to say, Drew, is this a confession? Are you letting us know that you have superpowers now?
Can neither deny nor confirm that at this time.
Okay. I'm going to put a poll in the chat. Which power set would you want? Flying, super strength. We'll say healing factor, because I think that's another one that people like a lot. And mind control. We'll do those four. Which one would you want? We'll see, chat. Which one would you probably prefer? So for me, as I've said on previous streams, I like the power of magnetism. I think that's super OP. And I think you could do a lot of good with that, not necessarily a lot of bad. I would choose super strength as well. I think the two of those would be nearly impossible to defeat. You would be pretty durable. Because I was thinking about it, and we were talking about telekinesis, and with the power to control metal, you essentially have a form of telekinesis with almost anything in the modern world. But with telekinesis, I feel like that's too overpowered. Because I mean, say you don't like someone, splat, you just like collapse their body in on themselves. Or you're like, nah, I don't like you. Boom, explode, take their limbs completely off. Like telekinesis could do some freaking damage, dude. So it's almost like too overpowered. I don't know.
It depends on how. First off, I just want to say, calm down, Lorna. Okay, like take your green hair and get out of here. It also depends on how powerful your telekinesis is. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, if you can just like look at somebody and they explode, a little much. I just want to be able to knock you on your ass if I need to.
I was gonna say, I just want to kind of grab my coffee from the other side of the room and just be like, I can't walk. I'm so lazy. I don't want to walk over there. It's just like, got
Okay.
it.
Max, I'm just gonna be honest. You hit the C and your coffee and the O a little hard, and I got nervous for like a fraction of a second.
Uh-oh.
And I thought this was going a completely different direction.
I'm just like jerking people off in the middle of nowhere. I'm just using telekinesis.
Actually, that could be freaking hilarious.
To just prank people, and people are like, oh my, what's happening to my...
Just blue ball them. Just blue ball the people. Oops,
yeah, just quickly, just get in, get
blue
out.
Baller.
It'd be like Flex from crap, why can't I think? The comic book. Flex Metallo, where he flexes a certain way and different people do things, but he flexes and they start all having orgasms.
Oh man. So far, healing factor. I did not see this coming. Healing factor is actually winning with a 38%. Wow. All right.
And I feel like people should clarify, is that like Wolverine healing, like you get stabbed and you can heal, or is that you healing other people's wounds? Both are cool.
I think healing other people is a little OP. It's like your Jesus level now, right? You're performing miracles on people, because then the government gets a hold of you and they're going to want you to start curing cancer for like the entire planet. And then you become, just the government slave. And like, it would be way too dark. With your own, it's a whole thing. We don't want to get into that. With healing yourself, though, yeah, you break your arm and it immediately heals back. But that doesn't mean that you don't feel every bit of it, and that's the poopy part about it. It's like, oh man,
Poopy
you know,
part.
you get stabbed and it, like, gets run through you or something, and then you feel your muscles and your tendons and sinews like coming back together. And you're like, oh, you can feel every bit of that. So, but you're all better. So it would save you a
You-
ton on hospital bills.
True,
That's,
true.
I mean,
Uh,
you know,
Do you know what I'm surprised nobody has said, but I think I know why they haven't said it? Is invisibility. But the
mm,
reality is, if you said you wanted the power of invisibility, everyone would look at you and be like, "You dirty little slut,
yeah, you're a little
go to the
crazy.
corner." Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I watched
most.
more of
Yeah.
Invisible Man. It's not for me. It sounds like it could be a hell of a lot of trouble, especially when you're trying to eat. You have to find your hands using your eating utensils, and you can't do that. And then you got to watch food to get digested in your stomach. And no, that's the whole thing. No,
Oh,
I don't want to do that.
yeah. Is it?
Uh,
I guess it would be like. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I guess it'd be like Pirates of the Caribbean when he's drinking the beer or he's drinking the wine, and you can see it going through him and stuff.
Yeah.
Would that still be? Or I guess that would.
Or
Yeah.
would it be
I guess it
invisible
would
because
happen.
it's inside? Like you wouldn't see it because, like, it's not like you see your organs when you're invisible.
Yeah, that's true. So it would it
What?
invisibility, I think, tends to be seen as a more sneaky, covert type of power. And for some people, it's like, oh, you creep. But
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Well, rumor has it that when Donnie Cates was asked this question, he chose invisibility, but that should surprise none of us.
I was about to say that tracks with what ended up happening
Yeah.
with him. So I guess he probably wanted to be invisible during that moment.
Another good example of invisibility and how weird it is League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with the Invisible Man and what he was doing, those shenanigans, acting
yeah.
like almost like a messiah, like he was impregnating women, like he was he was God effectively. But oh no, just some pervert, who was invisible, knocking girls up.
Yeah. Gosh, that's crazy, man. Now, here's the next question. Say you've got these superpowers and you decide to become a superhero. What's your costume? Because, like, I'm thinking for me, I don't think I'm donning a cape. I want to be as utility, like, I want to be as utility as possible. Like, everything needs to be functional on my uniform. I want to be able to move right. I want to be able to pick things up and not have to worry about getting anything caught. But I don't want spandex. It's got to be very tactical. So, what are you guys choosing for a uniform?
No uniform for me.
Oh, Drew's just going to be a civvy?
Yeah, I'm just going to be
Just
rocking
t-shirt and-
t-shirt, jeans, and Chuck Taylors.
Wow. Okay. Classic. Could just
Yeah, he's going
just your
to be like,
good
you,
old boy.
you never saw me coming.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would go the basic bitch route. I would go like dark clothing, probably like tactical pants, camo pants, trench coat, that sort of thing. So
Oh, trench coat would be sick. Now we're talking. Okay.
I own a trench coat. Like I own a full length black leather trench coat.
Why does that not surprise me? Oh,
I-
the duster. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would do something where like I like the cargo pants where you've got multiple pockets on there. But they have to be a little stretchy, like they almost have to be kind of a jogger material. But then I'd want high combat boots because you're going to be breaking ankles if you're running and stuff. You want to have a nice combat boot to where you're able to move well, but still have like I don't know, traction. And then I think I would just go with like an Under Armour shirt, like a compression shirt that's fairly tight. Because I don't want something. I know I don't want something that's like too baggy, or you don't want something that's like too tight because then you can't breathe. But
So Max, what is your superhero costume gonna be? Oh, I'm gonna wear joggers and like a compression shirt.
I mean, it's a tactical civilian uniform. And then I'd have some cool face mask. I'd have like the Green Lantern thing.
So I was about to add, I think it was back. I'll have to find the tweet and retweet it out. But back, I think it was Octoberish. I had used AI to come up with concepts for costume designs for superhero characters I created for like years and years and years ago. But my look would essentially be the Raptor look from that. But I'll try to find it and retweet it.
Dude, if you do, yeah, let me know and we can share it on here because that I remember you showing me that. It was cool as hell. So, speaking of cool, man, this is more than cool. This is praiseworthy beyond belief. Jamin D coming in with a Canadian $50 and just drops a heart. Thank you so much, Jamin D. Gosh, I cannot thank you enough. That is huge. It is massive. So let's get some music in here. We played for the birthday stream. Whenever someone donated $50, this is what you got. So Jamin also says beltless trench coat. Oh yeah. But yes, thank you again. Big hearts, big ups to our main $50 Canadian supporter, Jamin D. Thank you. I love that song. Gosh, that is so awesome. And welcome. Jamin, I don't know if I've seen you here before, but if you've been here, welcome back. But if not, yeah, we're glad to have you here. So yeah, all that being said, I think it's time to get started with some of the topics for this evening. And to kind of finish the conversation out, Healing Factor won with 43% votes. Damn.
Woo.
That's pretty significant. I would have never guessed.
Those people clearly fucking hate going to the doctor. I mean, that's really what that says. Avoid the doctor at all costs.
Or they plan on getting into a lot of situations where they're going to get hurt. So
yeah.
And they're just like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. So
I'll just add in real quick. I found the tweet, I retweeted, tagged you in it, but if you guys want to see, go check it out.
Perfect.
But stay here as well. Like multitask on your phone,
Well, I'll go ahead and pull it up because we can pull this bad Larry up and see what you are talking about, because I think this is pretty dang cool. So we'll go ahead and share the screen here. Yeah, dude, look at this. Nice. Yeah, there's that trench coat that you're talking about. Now, would you do kind of the purple and black motif just like this?
Yes, I would definitely do the purple and black. This would be like the earlier stage, and then you'd start getting more into like better face mask, a little more coverage. But this was kind of just general concept and ideas.
See, I don't know how much I like the Winter Soldier face. I can't breathe with that shit. So I would do the eye thing. I like the top being, the cap helmet face shield thing. But I do like the purple and black. That looks sick.
Yeah, and the idea for the high boots. Yeah,
the boots for me are a little too high, but yeah.
Well, yeah, they were a little high. The idea for the mask was almost more like a ninja mask, how it will come across, and then that was just a completely different mask concept.
Okay, gotcha.
And then if you look over to the right, you see some cheeks. That's a different character.
I didn't want to say anything, but I was like, can we show this, please? This is like Black Canary if DC actually was like writing her well and doing her right. So
hell yeah. She has telekinesis. This character does. But
she just has mind control because guys just look at her butt and she's like, you will buy me a drink. And they're just like, sure, yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's 2024, so that character, this is a part of a brother and sister duo.
So nice. Okay,
they're twins. So,
these are sick, man. Yeah, I like this a lot. I was gonna say the trench coat is good. I like the gloves and the glaives. You can kind of, block things and maybe stop things. My only thing is, I don't know, I don't like the arms being so constricted, which is like I like maybe having short sleeves or no sleeves at all.
Max,
Um,
just you just want to show off the guns.
I mean,
Get
you've
a
got
stretchy
to,
fabric.
right?
You're good.
uh, and yeah, the boots probably should come up mid calf, going all the way up to like past like over the shin. That's like way too constrictive, I think. But I know it's AI, so you can't really.
Yeah.
You would have to kind of work with that a little bit, but yeah, this is a good look with the pouches and the pockets, tactical pants. You can still move, you can still breathe, but it's not too. Yeah, I like it. Nice, man. Um, Jamin says, I'm usually Lord of the Rings, or sorry, I'm usually Lord of the Last Bench, hiding and listening, but always listening and watch you all three. Born of Blood series has been, for me, Chef's Kiss. Josh, or love you, Josh, always. Dang, look at that, Jamin. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much
Love it.
for watching us and supporting all three of us. That's awesome, man. Thank you. I
Yeah,
greatly
appreciate
appreciate
it.
that.
Thank you. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, Born of Blood was fantastic. I really enjoyed Drew's series, and I'm looking forward to the
Yeah,
next stuff that he puts out here. So,
all of it. All.
uh-oh. Did we lose Drew again?
Oh, I'm here.
Drew-
Can you hear me?
oh, okay, there you are. All right.
Dude, I got paranoid that it was my internet. I was like, damn it.
You're like, not again, not again. So let's get into what everyone is most likely here for. This is the big news. This is what the title of the stream has been. This is what all the tags are. Amazon, Henry Cavill, Warhammer 40K. What the hell has been going on? Everyone wants to know. And I've got 2 sentences for you. It's not a lot, but it's something. So this comes from Collider, which, I mean, they're the bastion of news
Yeah.
outlets and journalism. Oh, yes, Josh, please.
Can I just say that Collider automatically loses points for not having the title of this article be Henry Cavill confirms big things are happening with Warhammer 40K, and it's not just his arms? Like,
Oh, I thought you were
come
going
on.
to say his dick, but yes, his
Ooh.
arms too would. Mm.
That's for a separate show.
Yeah, that's for your show, not for mine. No, I mean, Collider has not been. They have not been the. I was being sarcastic when I said they are the bastion of hope when it comes to journalism in the field of comics, TV, film, whatnot. They post a lot of stuff that is very biased and some stuff that isn't even really necessary at all. However, this is one of the only updates that we've received from Henry about the show with Amazon for Warhammer 40K. And honestly, I hate to tell you, but it's not a lot. The only thing we're getting from this, like I said, are 2 sentences. He says Warhammer is progressing very well, and big things are happening, and we're very excited. So it is a very bland response. It is a very smart response, though, however. And it is one that um, I think leaves people wondering and questioning what's actually going on. But from my understanding, what I've also heard from Games Workshop is that we should, by the summer of 2024, we should be hearing more about this in terms of what the show will actually be about, who the main characters will be, some of the casting that will be, or some of the actors that will be casted. So by the summer, we should be getting more news. But as of right now, it's fairly just simple. I mean, it's going well. That's what we get from this. So I do think it's funny though, because Collider just is going to Collider, and they said Prime Video has invested heavily in fantasy series already, perhaps most notably in the case of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which was a massive gamble for the streamer that paid off handsomely. No, just no. That's no. Anyway, moving on. That's such a lie. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows that one of the biggest layoffs that Amazon has had to, some of the big layoffs that are currently happening right now are because of the massive flop that was Rings of Power and the billion-dollar series that looked like it was a stage play from a high school musical. Yeah, it was an absolute joke. So, do you guys have any hopes for this? Any questions about this? Has anything kind of sparked your interest when you guys see something like this? And what do you all think about the response from Henry saying Warhammer is progressing very well and big things are happening and we are very excited?
I'm excited. I mean, look, I'm not a Warhammer 40K fan. I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I am. I mean, that's very promising stuff. I mean, for a brand that's relatively, I guess, niche could be a word for it. I don't
Very
know,
niche,
but
yeah.
very niche. I'm excited, and it's big things have small beginnings, and this is a very small beginning right now for it. So things are just now steadily, slowly getting rolled out for it. So I'm kind of expected that. I wasn't really expecting a big grand detail of a cast. We got this, we got him and him and him. We're going to be there, and there. I'm like, no, it's going to be very small, progressive, and things are progressing slowly. But hey, that's the way it works a lot of times in Hollywood, from what I understand, right, Josh?
Yeah. I mean, you can look at the original Deadpool film. It took 7 years to get it out, and even then, the only reason it came out is because somebody, not Ryan Reynolds, accidentally released
definitely not Ryan Reynolds.
Definitely not Ryan Reynolds. I think this is a good sign. I mean, look, here's the deal. We know Henry Cavill loves Warhammer 40K. He's talked about it in the past before he was ever tied to this. He's talked about it in interviews. There's like a Graham Norton interview from back when he was still Superman, like early on in the DC phases, where he talked about it on there. So we know that he cares. In addition to that, we know that Games Workshop is very particular about protecting their brand. They have rules in place that shops cannot sell their games at a certain discount. Like, there's a lot of stuff there. They really try to protect the integrity of their brand. So you've got two facets here coming in that want to do something good, that respect the material, and they want to make sure they do it right. And I think they're going to do what they need to make sure Amazon kind of toes that line, because they could easily just back out. I mean, yeah, there's contracts, but there's loopholes and you can always find ways out. But I think I think it's a good sign.
Yeah. And I like the response from Henry, being not too specific, but also not really, like, he's not getting into the minutia of anything. He's being very straightforward, straight to the point. Everything's running smoothly. We're having a great time, and I'm really excited for what's about to come. It is a perfect response for something like this. Though it is a bit not corporate, right? But sometimes we need those responses, as we've seen with Hollywood in the past 5 years. Whenever you get an actor speaking about a project, it always goes poorly, for the most part, because instead of talking about the project, they end up talking about, well, we really wanted to modernize the character and talk about the social issues about this thing and that. And it's like, no one wants to hear about that. What's going on with the film? What's going on with the characters? How is it progressing in terms of like the actual, how is the making of the film progressing? And I think Henry really knows how to do that. I think he knows how to talk to individuals, journalists especially with that clip that came out where the guy tried to bait him into, blaming toxic fans about The Witcher. And instead he responded with, they aren't toxic fans, they're passionate fans. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I think Henry really knows how to talk to these journalists and put a really good spin on things, and make it so that everything that he talks about is in a positive light, and that things tend to be going well. We have Aaron Sparrow. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Oh, you're good.
I was just gonna say, and with that being said, I'm surprised Collider. This kind of stuff that Collider does.
Wait,
yes,
we lost you at the midway point of your thought, Drew.
damn it. I was just saying, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Collider was going to try to bait him into a stupid question, about fans or the fan base for this, but they didn't, shockingly, for right now. But we'll see what happens in the months and years to come.
Yeah. You know what I think is what probably is happening? I don't think Collider knows about Warhammer enough to actually be butthurt about its lore or something, right? Like I don't think they care, and I don't think they know enough about any of the factions or any of the characters or any of the, subtext or allegory or any of that. Like they don't even know what the tabletop game is. So I'm pretty sure that if they were going to try and Wikipedia, hey, what is the Warhammer thing that Henry Cavill knows? Like, who are these characters or whatever? They'll be tourist Wikipedia warriors. They won't actually know how to ask those questions unless they have to Wikipedia these things. So I don't know. I'm kind of glad that it is so niche because a lot of these people, these tourists, it may be a little bit harder for them to take over. But Aaron Sparrow says, "Sorry, I'm too drunk to join you guys." Aaron, have fun, dude. Don't even worry about it. As long as you're home safe, or as long as you're at a bar somewhere safe, have a great night, man. And then Fear Monarch for member for 2 months. Thanks, Fear. Appreciate it, dude. He says, I have a suggestion for Cherry Popped, Into the Mouth of Madness.
Great
What do you
movie.
think, Josh? Yes, yeah.
Look, that'll have to be one of my cherries getting popped because I haven't seen it. So
What? Never
Let's
seen In the Mouth of Madness?
go.
I don't think so. Like I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Oh, John Carpenter movie with Sam Neill, and it's a awesome movie. Just a great little
Yeah.
love letter to H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, I've not seen the whole thing, but from what I remember, it's pretty spooky. But yeah, very, very, very cool concept. So, Josh, maybe we'll both have to get our cherries popped on that boy.
Outstanding.
Lady G, what's going on, Lady G? Good to see you. Hopefully, we get to see you in Vegas soon. She says this article made me mad. It was very much a nothing we didn't already know situation. Oh, 100%, Lady G. And I think a lot of people are running with this as big news from Henry Cavill, Amazon Warhammer thing, and it's like, yes, we are getting news, but the news is there's no news. So
maybe because not much news has been out about it. Maybe people were thinking, is this even really happening? Did this thing get shelved or canceled? We don't know, but I think this is more or less to reassure fans, hey, it's still, wheels are in motion, things are happening. But yeah.
The board is set and the pieces are moving. Scott Alderson, what's going on, brother? He says, basically, where do I start? So there are a couple different avenues that you could start, my man. There are big, the 5 big avenues you could probably go down with Warhammer are video games, the books and the novels and the comics, the tabletop game, the hobby, which is like building and painting and stuff. And then I would say probably the 5th one being lore in general. So like YouTube videos and mainly YouTube videos, but also Twitter threads and Reddit posts and stuff that go all into the lore aspect of things. So it really kind of depends on where you yourself feel comfortable. If you're more of a book guy, start with the books, and I can give you some recommendations for that. If you're more of a tabletop player, like Dungeons and Dragons, you would go into the Warhammer store, pick out an army, build it, and then play it on the tabletop. You'd have to learn the rules and stuff. If you just want to get into the hobby, you'd be able to start painting and building and doing conversions and stuff like that. So that is why I think it's so unique, and that's why I love it so much, is because there's so many different avenues that you could go down, that it really all kind of depends on what kind of hobbyist you are. Or if you're a video game nerd, I'm not, but I know a lot of people that are like, I only do Warhammer video games. That's how I interact with the hobby. So
I'll add.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll add that there's a wonderful new channel that's growing called Maximus Prime.
Yes.
Check it out.
Thank you. That is also a good plug. So if you guys do want some Warhammer lore and some fun Warhammer videos, go check out my second channel called Maximus Prime 40K. Go check it out. I think you guys will like it. Books and comics are what I like more, and the lore like YouTube, like your channel. Well, thanks, dude. Yeah. Then I would say for books, I think my top, maybe top 3. If you want to check out Gaunt's Ghosts by Dan Abnett, if you want to check out Space Wolf by William King, or if you want to check out Hell's Reach by Aaron Dembski Bowden, those are probably my top 3 favorite books of all time in the Warhammer universe. And they are great starting points for anyone. You can pick them up and read them, and you don't need to know anything previous to that. You can pick them up and start it right there and be kind of immersed into the world. And there are plenty of other books, but I'd probably go with those. My only other one that I would probably say, if you want to get in on kind of what a lot of people have been saying Henry could possibly do, would be Eisenhorn, the Eisenhorn series, another one by Dan Abnett. So that might also be a good choice for you. So hopefully that helps. Yes, that's true. You're earning your money tonight, Josh. Hail to you, Salty. Thanks for being here, brother. Great to see you as always. And those Wikipedia warriors managed to destroy our stuff. I swear on the Emperor, I will go to Amazon and slap Henry Cavill myself if there are female Space Marines. Lady G, I love your vigor. It motivates me. He in an interview, Henry has said, because someone in a podcast, someone had said, "Hey, why don't you do Eisenhorn? Why wouldn't that be something you'd want to do?" And he kind of alluded to, why would I do Eisenhorn when you have Constantine Valdor? And if anyone know who Constantine Valdor is, he is like the Emperor's first son. Constantine Valdor is the bodyguard of the Emperor and one of the OP, like overpowered beyond belief characters in the Warhammer 40K universe. And I think Henry would have a lot of fun because Custodes are also his faction that he plays on the tabletop. He builds and paints them and does that stuff. So I think Henry is actually kind of a Valdor fan, but we'll see. So, yeah, sorry, Josh and Drew. You guys are probably like, sure, yeah. Constantinople Valiance, sure, that guy. I know him.
No, it's good. I need to listen up because I need to have some type of familiarity with this by the time it comes out. So, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. My only thing with this, and this will be the last thing, and then we'll move on. My fear is that if it goes mainstream, it will hurt the hobby. And this is what Gary has said about comic books the second that they started with the MCU. The movies will be good for a little while, but the hobby itself will be in danger. The effects of what happens with the films will in turn hurt the hobby. And I think that is what is going to happen. I hate to say it, and I hate to be a doomer. I don't want to be black-pilled on this. I want to have hope for this. And the scary thing is that even if it is really good and all the Warhammer fans love it, that's even more cause for concern, because we're going to get infiltrators and tourists who go, hey, look at this cool new thing that we haven't destroyed yet. Look at this cool new thing that's awesome, that has Henry Cavill's name attached to it, that has a beautiful world and a beautiful universe and an incredible franchise and people who love it. Why don't we fucking destroy it? And I know that
this white guy. Wouldn't it be cool if it was a 14-year-old black girl in a wheelchair with a robotic arm who's on diabetes?
Yeah,
has all the powers in the world. But wait,
100%. Yeah. Oh wait. Oh yeah. But that's the thing. It's like Warhammer already has that shit in it, where you have people who are disabled, if you want to call it that, or they're differently abled. They have servitor arms, they have mechanical eyes, they have different disabilities where, a fucking dreadnought is a amputee who has no arms and legs, who controls a dreadnought like robot looking thing from his musculature, but he has 0 arms and legs. So you want to talk about representation? Like, that's the most disability representation you could ever have.
So it's kind of like the new RoboCop movie when what's his face, like when we see him, like it's just like his like hardened lungs and his head connected, and everything else is machine.
Essentially, yeah.
Wow.
So, so that is my fear, is that it's going to become mainstream. People are going to really get attached to it, and they're going to feel like this is their new thing now that they claim is theirs, and it will suffer for it. And that is my fear. And once it becomes reality, I will look back on this stream and I will sadly say, I told you so. And that is why I'm sad, and that is why I'm hesitant for the show to come out. So we shall see, though. We shall see. To be fair, 40K is borderline torture porn when you dig into the seeds and the way the Space Marines are created. Yes. Oh, it is not a. It is. There's a reason why it's called the Grim Dark Universe, right? Nothing. All hope, that's essentially, has been lost for a lot of humanity. Almost every faction is.
So it's like the new
despair.
52. Got it.
Yeah.
So what's the ultimate goal?
it's-
Like, what is the ultimate goal from the different factions? Like, what is there one?
Survival.
Ah.
It is merely survival. In the grim darkness of the 41st universe, there is only war. That is the tagline for Warhammer 40K. In every book, in every novel, in every comic, the first line of every single book is, in the grim darkness of in the 41st millennium, or 41st universe, in the grim darkness there is only war. So humanity is besieged on all sides, from aliens, like bug tyrannid things. You have chaos cultists who have been transformed by chaos gods from the warp. You have this alien race of, I guess you could say, elves, like space elves, Eldari. You also have the Tau, which are like another kind of alien race. You have Necrons, which are more of a, I don't want to call them robots, but that's the easiest way of like depicting what they look like and what they are. And so with all these things vying for power and survival, humanity is besieged on all fronts, and their hope is that one day they can destroy all of this and bring back humanity to what it was, 40,000 years ago. But after a while, you become just a meat grinder. That is the 40K universe. It is just churning out Space Marines, churning out Imperial Guard, churning out more Custodes, and eventually, well, Custodes, it's argued that they've never lost a battle, but Space Marines and Imperial Guard for sure. You are just, it's a meat grinder. Meat grinder. You make one, he dies. You make another, he dies, and it's just constant until that is their lifespan. So it's really interesting, all the different factions, but that is kind of the overall nature of it is humanity vying for survival. But chat, let me know if that is kind of how you guys see the universe. Yeah, Lady G, some want to control. I mean, when you look at chaos, the chaos gods and things that are possessed by the demonic, gods of chaos, they definitely want to control. They want to pervert. They want to twist and manipulate. But for humanity, I'm pretty sure they are just trying to survive. So let's get into our next topic here, because I feel bad that we've talked about this for so long, and my co-hosts are just like, sure, yep, right.
What?
Yeah, right. So this was recently shared on X/Twitter. What do you guys think about the new designs for the X-Men 97 team?
I mean,
Well,
Questions, comments?
for the most part, they're in line with some minor adjustments.
Okay.
Yeah,
Minor
exactly.
adjustments.
Yeah. So like Storm, for instance, you've got the Mohawk, which I'm fine with, but what you
Mhm.
can't tell from this picture is it's actually a Mohawk mullet. Like it
Oh,
comes
it
down.
goes
in the back.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like it's short, but it's not. And then
Okay.
like you'll look at Bishop. Bishop's got short hair, which fine. You've got Rogue. Rogue's got a green jacket instead of a brown jacket. Interesting choice. I think I like the
Yeah.
brown better.
It gets lost. It's like you don't even recognize she has a coat on, a jacket on. Like, why would you do that? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, I don't know. We have
Yeah.
Morph, which we had to discuss. You know, is
Yes.
that Morph or is it not Morph? Because you sent the picture in the group chat, and then they're like, "Da-da-da-da, next to Morph," which we'll get to the next to Morph in a second. But I was like, "Is that Morph or is that Caliban?" And then it became like a 10-minute thing of like, "Let's find out." But
Yeah.
it turns out it is Morph. And then next to Morph, as Aaron described him, who's that? What do you say? Gay? Crap! How do you describe it?
Ethnically questionable, diverse, gender questionable. Yeah. That's just wearing yellow sweatpants and a track jacket. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Supposedly, this is supposed to be Sunspot from
Hey,
the
is that
X-Men film.
is that actually is that GIF a clip of him from the show?
From the X-Men 97 show?
I guess.
Is that the actual animation?
No, there's no way.
Have there been previews
Because
though, or is
that looks like a totally different person. I don't know. This is just a comment, but this is probably from something else.
Yeah.
possibly? Yeah, I know that a lot of talk has been why isn't he in a costume, and the only thing I can think of is that perhaps he is going to be the Jubilee of this generation, or the Kitty Pryde from Pride of the X-Men. He's the new young fresh face coming in. The whole world's new to him, so you're getting introduced to everything through his eyes. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. I'm not. Something's missing. It's missing. I don't know if it's missing heart or if it's missing detail or if it's just. It seems like these are just cardboard cutouts of like the original passion project of what the original show was. And maybe it's just because I've watched the show like 10 times through, and I know the all the detail that goes into all these characters and like the little nuances and stuff. But I don't know. This just feels like a hollowed out, soulless version of what the first show was. Like, why are they doing this in the first place? Like, what's the
Money.
I know it's money. I know it's like, oh, nostalgia. You remember these characters, don't you? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind this. This is also part of the Chapek. Like, we've got to fill up Disney Plus with new content. Like, going hand. This was supposed to have already been out. This was supposed to have been out forever ago.
Yeah.
And it just pushed back. Same with that Spider-Man freshman year, which isn't called Spider-Man freshman year anymore. I don't know. The lifeless thing though, Max, the only thing I can think of is kind of how we talk about art and comics, how we'll talk about, you can tell a difference when someone does actual pencils versus using digital art. There's just a difference there. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here.
I could see that for sure. Yeah, because those original animations from the 92 and 93 series, I mean, you can get what are those called? Like from Batman the animated series, when those things film cells. Yeah, you can get the cells of those original drawings, right? Those original illustrations. Like that is really cool. This feels all just like it's sketched up on a 3D asset website. You know what I mean? So it's like,
probably is
cool. Maybe. I mean, yeah. Oh God, when I saw this though, I about lost my shit. This person zoomed in on Magneto and just said "slay," because I guess Magneto has lipstick.
Wow.
What the fuck are we doing? What is this timeline?
Um, I'm way too amused. I'm kind of sad because all the other pictures that I've seen of Magneto, the eyebrows are weird too. Like in the other pictures, you haven't been able to see the eyebrows, and it's been shadowed, and you just see like the whites of the eyes, which
Hmm.
was super menacing. And then you see this, and it looks like a drag queen. It looks like Granny Goodness became Magneto.
Yes. Oh my God. That's actually that's 100%. Yeah. No, and even when you see him normally, like the shadow covers his eyebrows, but for some reason they decided to do the eyebrows on this one with the lipstick. We're gonna have to find a name for him because just like Lipstick Lobo when he came out in the new 52, we'll need a magnificent Magneto or something with the lipstick because this is embarrassing. Come on. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan. I mean, of course, people are going to go, "Oh, well, you're just biased because this is the first show." Oh, 100%. Yeah, of course. Why do we need this? We don't need an X-Men 97. We have X-Men 92 and 93. Excuse me, sorry, X-Men the animated series. Like
Yes,
that's just the show. So
we've got three good seasons and one season that shouldn't have been made in the first place. So I'll say that.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, we could go through here and talk about Storm should have her full white hair. You know, maybe she should have
Well,
a mohawk.
well, here's the thing with that. I of all the approaches they've done, that's the one I like the most. Great, I can't see the mullet part, which is stupid if that exists. But
Yeah.
for the character herself, if they get into that mode of Storm where she did lose her power, she becomes like a punk rock Storm. That's with the character. That's very fitting. Maybe they'll go down that path. I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I don't like Bishop having short hair. He needs to have the dreadlocks.
The mullet. I mean,
Um,
look, I don't know if it's big there in California, but the mullets are huge here in the Midwest. Guys have mullets. It's
yeah.
ridiculous. It's like,
Yeah.
of all the times to have a mullet, like now's the time. Give them the damn mullet. Give it back to them.
Yeah, the mullet or the dreadlocks I like a lot. And then Wolvie, I think he needs to be even a little bit thicker. I don't know. But
Yeah, he
the-
looks small. Looks very. His arms look too small.
yeah. So, like I said, I'm not a huge fan. Let's get that off the screen. Sorry, I got scared for a second. Because yeah, it just like I said, it just seems soulless. It doesn't seem like there's anything really of interest there. But
I was getting ready to say it looked like Josh fell asleep, but I guess that was just
oh.
camera.
Well, I was just about to ask him about our next topic. That's all right. Man, I'm losing both of you guys tonight. Your internet drops, Josh's internet drops. Well, that's all right. We'll continue to keep going.
I put in a
here.
new disc of America Online. I should be good. I've got another 59 hours to go, so I should be good.
Oh, good. Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those little square floppy disks that you insert in. Yeah, I have mine in for the internet. So as long as that keeps going, we should be good. So let's check out this Bucky article because I wanted to talk about this. CBR. This is what's crazy is like these news sites never report this kind of stuff. All of a sudden, though, they're starting to talk. You know, CBR, Collider. But this article headline says, "Sorry, but Bucky Barnes should have succeeded Steve Rogers in the MCU." It goes on to say, Sam Wilson is the new Captain America for Brave New World, but Steve Rogers' best friend, Bucky Barnes, may have made more sense as his successor. Now, Drew, this is something you've always said, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Ever since we had Endgame, I knew the next, because if you read the comics, anyone read them, they're there. The successor was Bucky. Bucky inherited the shield after Cap. It fit. It was more or less, if you read the story, it was more or less an attempt at redemption. It was a time for Bucky to redeem himself from being the Winter Soldier and a lot of the evil that he had done that he doesn't remember he did, but he did do, which was sad because he was brainwashed. But this is a chance for him to handle the shield and to redeem his transgressions. And they completely bypassed all of that redemption, everything, that whole arc for Bucky none of it. Let's just give it to Sam, even though he doesn't want it, didn't earn it, didn't deserve it. Let's give it to Sam.
Yeah. And that is what this article kind of talks about, Drew. And you're 100% correct. What Bucky needed to do was kind of have a moment of a hero's journey to kind of fight past those transgressions that he had made while he was under mind control. Like, everyone thought of him as a domestic terrorist and they hated him. And this was his moment for him to show up and say, I'm not that person that you know me as. And he could have fought against that narrative and and that would have been a really interesting story plot, I think. Right. But the big reason, and I think even people who are on the I don't know, the diversity, inclusion, and equity train, even they are recognizing now the reason that Captain America Falcon got the shield was because they wanted to comment on what if a Black American individual was Captain America. What is that going to do with the cops? What is that going to do with the government? What is that going to do with, blah, blah, blah. And it seems so tired now that as they have a retrospective and they're looking back, I think they see it as a huge missed opportunity because it makes absolutely no sense why Falcon would actually pick it up. So I'm going to read through some of this. But I did want to just check on Josh. So he should be here in just a moment. His computer is rebooting.
Good.
But
can't handle carrying his load.
I know. I know, right? The two of us can only handle so much cringe now. This is actually, this isn't as cringe as I thought it would be. The original hero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe wasn't Iron Man, but rather the World War II icon Steve Rogers. Rogers' adventures came to an end with the conclusion of Avengers Endgame, and he's since been succeeded by Sam Wilson, who was previously his former sidekick, Falcon. Some fans, however, felt that another former ally of Steve Rogers might have made more sense as the new Captain America. That's especially the case given the current state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. CBR, what do you mean by especially the case given the current state of the MCU? Are they being critical, Drew? I almost said Josh.
Whoa, that sounds a little problematic there. I don't know. You're questioning the status quo right now for the Marvel Universe. That's kind of bad of me. We have to send someone's way.
I know. Disney's not going to like that, CBR.
Yeah.
Currently, the MCU is a bit rudderless compared to its heyday.
Whoa. Wow.
Rudderless or just absolute shit? Well, yes, rudderless. It has no cohesive through line. Right?
There's no direction. There is no
yeah.
clear it's on top of Jonathan Majors being pretty much shit canned, the whole Kang idea going out the window, and the lack of big returns on their investments, the investments being these films. And who's to say, like, all these plans they had in place, Young Avengers, Blade, Kang, it's like, is any of this shit going to see the light of day?
It's similarly, it's just like Star Wars. Because if you remember, Kathleen Kennedy was promising all these Star Wars, the Rian Johnson trilogy. Remember that? And all of these things just keep getting, put in the trash. Nothing's actually coming to fruition. But
yeah, you're putting the wagon before the horse, and we're going to do all this. It's like, whoa. Let's slow this down. Let's get one solid film made first. How about that? And then we'll go from there.
Just like the DCU, where they're like, we're going to have a 10-year plan, and it's like, dude, you don't even have a 1-year plan. Why do you think you can have a 10-year plan?
And there was a recent report that came out, I guess, from DC executives. They're kind of scared about the Superman film because if you think about it, they don't really have a big star in the film. Granted, you do have, what's his name? I think Holt playing Lex Luthor, but is he really that big of a name? That big of a draw? They don't really have like those big A-list names attached to the film. Superman 78 had fucking Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman. I mean, this film, it's like, who's your big star? I
almost kind of like the fact that they don't have a big star, Like I kind of like the fact that they're giving it to people that aren't like, oh, hey, Brad Pitt is Superman. It's like, what? Like there are plenty of other actors that could play this part. So I don't know why we're. So there is a part of me that's like, it may not, but it's Superman. It's gonna have the draw, even if it's completely unknown people. If it's Superman, people are gonna show up to that theater. I think
They will, but word of mouth. The minute the word spreads like this is a stinker or Superman is an evil asshole, they're not going to come to see the movie a second, third, fourth time.
Yeah. So currently, the MCU is a bit rudderless compared to its heyday. Josh, we were just laughing because this is CBR, and they
Yeah.
are criticizing the MCU. How dare they?
Shocking.
The status quo.
Yeah. It's notably lacking a defined Avengers team. Hype for a new version of the Avengers might be stronger if Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, was the one who had succeeded Steve Rogers as Captain America. Likewise, he actually has far more reason to take up the mantle than Sam Wilson, both in terms of narrative and in terms of moral strength.
Wow.
God damn,
So-
who paid this? I mean, this is. I mean, I agree with that, but why are we getting this 7 years later?
Yeah, no, I mean, most of us were saying this, right after Endgame came out, that we
Yeah.
felt this is the way that it should have been, and the only argument I've seen to suggest Sam is the better choice is, oh god, he's one of the executive producers for all the Marvel stuff, or one of the producers for the Marvel stuff, but he was discussing how we need to remember that Bucky in this universe has murdered so many people, and it's well known that he has murdered so many people, and that the idea of the mantle of the shield and what it should represent shouldn't go to, even though it wasn't his doing of free will, it was him, and society's going to look at it as him that murdered people, but that they wanted the shield to represent something above that, something to try to achieve. I kind of understood that respect. I do think you could come back and say, like, yeah, but it wasn't him, and him in his right mind would not do this.
And yeah, no, I think Drew and I were kind of talking about narratively. I think it would be a really interesting play to actually have that in the storyline. People
agreed.
distrusting him, right? Because they would be like, how are we supposed to trust this domestic terrorist who almost killed all these different people? And so that would be a really interesting story choice to have someone who's struggling with the people, with the populace. Whereas with Black Falcon, Captain America, it was just a social commentary on African Americans and cops. It's like, okay, like, yes, I understand that is an issue, and during that period of time, that was a hot button topic, but narratively and for so many comic book fans, they didn't want that and they didn't need that. What they wanted and needed was what Ed Brubaker gave to us, however many decades ago. And it makes so much more sense. And I think people, honestly, even I was telling Drew, even the people who are into the whole diversity, equity, and inclusion thing, even they're now saying, yeah, you know what? Falcon wasn't the right choice. We know that he was chosen for the shield because of his skin color, but we really do think should have been, Bucky.
Yeah.
Which is, it's like, great, too late. A little too late now, You had
So
something
when
great.
you've got your Captain America, your quote unquote Captain America, end quote, just protecting a terrorist who was killing people and saying she's misunderstood, and your messaging is messed up. You have a jacked up system, message what you're trying to tell the fans and the viewers here. So terrorism is good, and Cap should support this, I guess.
Yeah, Drew. The senator needs to do better. Come on.
Do better. I mean, look, clearly the accurate answer and what they should have gone with was Homo captain of the railways, the Captain America.
Yeah.
That one. That's who they should have brought
we're
in.
talking. Yeah,
with
he
the
needs
trash
the
can for
trash
the
can
shield.
lid.
Look at me and my trash can shelled.
Drew and I are on the same. We're thinking we're on the same wavelength. And Aaron's right. Do better, Drew. You need to step up.
God
You
damn
need
it.
to do
All
better,
right, yes.
Senator. Yeah.
I'm not
Um,
a slacker. I'm not a slacker.
The entire concept of the Disney Plus TV series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was to cement the true new Captain America. In the case of Sam
Bullshit.
Wilson, I
Wow.
know, right? In the case of Sam Wilson, there's also that Disney clip that I should have saved on my computer where Kevin Feige went to Disneyland Anaheim and he introduced the new and the only, or something like that, the true Captain America, Sam Wilson, and he introduced Anthony Mackie.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, so like Disney has run with this as like he is the true Captain America. I'll have to find that clip and see if we can play it. In the case of Sam Wilson, a central premise was the concept of his taking up the mantle as a black man. How original. While this not offended. While this offered its own strong themes and storytelling potential, sure, Bucky Barnes is still the stronger candidate for his best friend's mantle. That sounds pretty racist, CBR. I don't know. Given his history. After all, Bucky had been brainwashed into becoming the assassin known as the Winter Soldier, removing him from his heroics during the events of World War II. Thus, a series that saw Bucky take up the mantle of his deceased friend could have written itself 100%. Especially would have been... Yeah, I know, right? Especially, it would have been a redemption story. Everyone loves a redemption story, man.
Yep.
Bingo.
No, well,
With Bucky-
not only
go ahead.
I was gonna say not only would it have been a redemption story, but it would have been a redemption story with a man who felt he was undeserving of that mantle,
Yeah.
proving that he deserved it.
Yeah. I love that. This is Josh. I feel like this would be prime for your writing abilities too.
Oh,
like you
hell
and
yeah.
Drew could come together and write like a Winter Soldier series that would have just fucking been a banger.
Done. Let's do this.
Right? With Bucky proving to himself and the world at large, because remember, he's a domestic terrorist, that he was no longer the killer that his brainwashing had made him into. Likewise, his questioning of whether he was worthy of replacing a good man like Steve Rogers was ultimately have been proof that he was just as good of a man. Just exactly like you said, Josh. Likewise, this sort of legacy should logically mean more to Bucky than Sam. 100%. Yeah, Sam didn't even want it. As he knew Steve for decades prior. Currently, Bucky is poised to lead the Thunderbolts, but such a role actually might have fit Sam Wilson due to his previous existence as a counselor. There's also the fact that Bucky Barnes... Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of projects we'll probably never see the light of day, the fucking Thunderbolts, you want to talk about the most generic, powered, quote-unquote, hero villains to getting together. It's like, this is lamer than Suicide Squad.
No one cares.
No,
yeah.
Dead on arrival.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's Salty, there is one factor between there's one through line through all of these projects. It's not Marvel, it's not Star Wars, it's not the actors or the producers, it's Disney. And that is something that it is a toxic brand at this point. People don't want to touch it. It has ruined so many IPs and so many legacy characters that the through line has been Disney, and they're going to have a long way to recover from this. There's also the fact that Bucky Barnes' adventures in the role of Captain America were part of the acclaimed Ed Brubaker run on Captain America. This series was lauded as the Sentinel of Liberty's best comic book run, with only Mark Grunwald's comics from several years prior even coming to close the same level of renown and reception. Thus, Bucky has well-liked source material to pull from, meaning that his becoming the new MCU Captain America inherently might have been have had more longevity. It's like all of these points.
Sense.
Yeah, right.
This is everything the studio should have known going into this.
And the article just keeps going, and this reason, and also this reason. And it's like, no shit. We've been saying this since the second Endgame since the moment happened in Endgame where Cap gave a shield over to Sam, this was like, yeah, this was the wrong way
It's like,
to
even
go
it was
about
to
the
the
rest
point
of
like
the
I was expecting them to hand it over to Bucky. I'm like, yeah, here's the moment to give it to Bucky. It's like, wait, what? Huh? No. What the fuck is this?
I knew it wasn't going to Bucky. I knew the moment they referenced Bucky as White Wolf in the teaser or at the end of one of those, I knew then they had no plans of making him Cap.
Yeah.
And look, we shit on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the show, quite a bit because there's a lot of low points in it. But I will say there's some great Bucky moments in there that would have kind of like started this path that they chose to go down this path. But I think it's that first or second episode where they're in that room with the therapist or the counselor that Bucky's got, and he's facing what's Falcon's name?
Sam Wilson.
He's facing he's facing.
See, no one
Sam
even cares. You don't even care.
I know. That's just me having a brain fart. But he's facing Sam, and Sam says something about why he gave up the shield or whatever, and then Bucky had that moment where he's like, well, what does that say about me? Like, that was a moment. And then that flashback that they showed when he was in Wakanda, and Ao was going through the mental commands that would make him switch into the Winter Soldier, and when he doesn't like switch and he doesn't go into that killer instinct, the breakdown he had, such a powerful moment, like such a good moment, because it's just like, I'm free.
Yeah.
And I wish we could have explored that freedom, and instead we're putting him back into being a slave.
Yep.
A weapon again.
I mean, those are small, short moments, unfortunately, from that show.
Oh no, agreed.
And it's like those moments with him and with the Baron Zemo, I felt were some of the best ones. That guy playing Zemo, he's amazing.
And Baron Zemo is not in Thunderbolts. Like, what the fuck?
How is he not leading the team? How is he not doing this? This is bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Or you know what moment I really loved, and probably my favorite line in the entire Civil War movie, was when Iron Man jumps on, or Iron Man or Robert Downey Jr. and Bucky are fighting, and I call him Robert Downey Jr. It's Tony Stark. He's fighting Bucky, and he grabs onto him and like gets him in a headlock, and he goes, "Do you even remember them?" And if you guys remember the movie, the simple line he just says, "Every one of them." And it's such it happens like that. It happens in a second, and you have to be listening, but because it's in the middle of like an action scene. But it's moments like that where I'm like, you guys had something here. Give me more of those moments. I yes, the action set pieces are great, but give me moments like that where we are with Bucky, because Sebastian Stan is a fantastic actor. I want to see him as a leading man, because too many times he's been in the shadows and we haven't really gotten to see his full potential. And so to see those moments where he does have these like really moralistic, sad experiences, I want to see more of that, man. So to explore more of that. I remember every one of them type of thing would have been really dark, but I think also really interesting.
Yep. And we also have to ask the question too. Like, I still lean like Bucky should have been Cap no matter what. But how much more accepting would we be of Sam being Cap if he wasn't so preachy in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and if he didn't think terrorists weren't terrorists? Like,
we'll never know. We
gotta stop calling these people terrorists. I mean, they're just blowing shit up. That's all.
We'll never know. That's the path they wanted to go down, unfortunately, and we'll just never know. But with that being said, if you look at the comic runs, okay, I accept there was a relatively well received Rick Remender run, but with him, I accept that. But everything after that, anything involving the Avengers or subsequent runs with him, dead on arrival. No one talks about them. No one remembers them. No one cares. He had his moment, but it didn't really stick.
Well, check this out, because what you guys were just talking about, the whole terrorist thing. This, of course, until Sam, for some reason, defends the Flag Smashers after their own violent acts, demanding that the criminals not be treated as terrorists. Though this was meant to showcase his morality, it only made some fans less than engendered to his tenure as Captain America. 100%. Why? Like, who is writing? This is not a CBR article. There's no way that this came from CBR. Neither Steve nor Bucky ever displayed such naivety or self-righteousness. And if anything,
Oh my God.
Sam, I know, right? Sam simply comes off as the other side of the morally conflicted John Walker. Given how the show had gone out of its way to portray him as unworthy of Steve's mantle, the fact that the same series shows Sam in a more positive light is astounding. I did want to also read this one too, because it talks about Bucky, but it says Bucky Barnes was never focused on being a good soldier, and he simply wanted to both serve his country and look out for his friend Steve Rogers. Likewise, he had to be brainwashed into becoming the Winter Soldier in order to be made into a good soldier. Conversely, he's horrified at his past and wants to desperately escape it, especially since it was one while under the mind control that he committed such acts. Sam Wilson, on the other hand, is regularly shown as compliant with whatever Steve Rogers values. Thus, he is the epitome of just a good soldier. Again, Bucky is horrified by this flagrant violence as the Winter Soldier, yet Sam Wilson has no problem killing terrorists that stand in his way. All of this stuff could have been explored in the actual show that we will never see and will never get. So, but yeah, like I said, the article continues to go on, and it's actually a fairly lengthy article, and each one of these paragraphs displays more and more why we should have gotten Bucky as our new Captain America, and that's what's so frustrating. So I would highly recommend people to go check this out because it is a very well done article. So
See who wrote this. I'm curious. I don't know if it's gonna be at the top or the bottom.
Aaron Sparrow. Wait, what?
Oh,
Like scroll down just a little bit. Oh, that's
Timothy Donahue.
Donahue.
Don't know who. I don't know
Phil
who
Donahue?
it is.
His son?
Timothy Donahue. Let's check.
Well, I don't know who that is.
Interesting.
He's a black
Senior
dude, though.
writer. Yeah. Wow.
Whoa,
Damn.
even
He's
more
going
shocking.
against the grain. He was like, you know what? Like, Black Cap is cool, but like, we should have had Bucky. It's like, damn, that is really interesting.
I bet he's a gay black Republican.
You think so?
I'm throwing it out there. I bet.
I mean, the fact that he mentioned that Sam Wilson was trying to be a moralistically virtue signaling, grandstander for fucking terrorists. That's pretty based right there. That he called that out and was like, "No, this isn't cool. Why is Sam doing this?" So I don't know. Let's reach out to him. Can we get him on the show? Let's see if we can get him on, and he can talk about this article. I'd love it, dude. That'd be so dope. But I normally don't like journalists, but hey, I got to give it to this guy. Nailed it with this one. Absolutely nailed it. So Bucky Barnes should have succeeded Steve Rogers in the MCU, 100%. So,
and who knows? We could be on the second Captain America movie with Bucky as Cap by now. Who knows?
Dude, I would have loved to see that. That would have been so. Yeah, like I said, I really like Sebastian Stan, and I think that he was kind of robbed, unfortunately. So
yes, he was.
All right. So next, I wanted to talk about. This isn't really a topic. I just wanted to point this out. I think it's kind of messed up because I saw this photo of Alaqua Cox, who is Echo in the new show on Disney Plus, and I think she's actually very pretty. She's a gorgeous woman who, clearly is, I think, has a very pretty facial structure. And then, like, when you look at her character in Echo, I don't want to say they ugify her, but they do not make her look as beautiful as she is naturally, like, in some of these photos that she takes, like, for whether it's for her acting or for Instagram or whatever. And I noticed this too when they did this with Iman Vellani. She looks beautiful on the red carpet. Granted, yes, she has makeup and she's, all kind of put together. When you look at her in the show, she's this like frumpy, dumpy, like kind of nothing burger.
I
And
think that's
I
part of the
wonder-
plan. It's got to be part of the plan. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, so I've got thoughts on both. So for Iman
Okay.
Vellani, keep in mind as Miss Marvel, like she's supposed to be a 16-year-old girl. She's supposed to be like the not popular, uncool, like what a
Okay.
dweeb nerd. Like she's not. She's that that kid. So
But
by all means,
even in the
if we-
uniform, though, come on, because she doesn't like. They could have done a better uniform.
well, hold on, because
Right?
I'm gonna
No?
say more. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll agree. They could have done a bit better. But her character, like, if we're getting material from Hollywood that's actually letting a teenager still be a teenager, still be a kid, like, let's just take it. Because
That's
there's too much shit with 16-year-olds that are, like cleavage and bosoms and all the makeup, and they look like it just, we get enough of that. Let kids be kids.
Yeah.
Echo, and look, she's supposed to be street level. She's not supposed to be like higher end. So I kind of get that. But for both of these people, I think they're just normal women. And I'm just kind of throwing this out there. I think that's now that costume they made for Alaqua Cox for Echo, that Native American dress. That's
Ooh.
so even
Ooh.
the costume is bad. The shape of the
Yes.
costume is bad.
Yeah.
So you guys know this. I've got a friend that's in Echo. She played one of the ancestors that one of the Shiros that comes forward. But she had pictures of the premiere, and even Alaqua Cox's Echo costume on a mannequin frame looked boxy as hell. So it's a bad costume.
Yeah.
So Danny, so I sent you guys the picture of Danny on the red carpet, and y'all
Oh my
both
God,
like, "Yo,
she's
she's
gorgeous.
smoking." Like,
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
if you look, he looks terrible in the show.
Oh, no.
Like, her character's name is like
Whoa.
Turok or something. Look up Echo and
Turok.
Turok. No, I'm serious. Like, pull it up real quick, because you're
Okay,
gonna
let's
see it and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Because I know y'all didn't watch, but it's either Tulok or Turok.
Yeah, I'm getting I'm getting like actual Turok, not
Oh.
you know
Hold
what I mean?
on.
Like I'm getting
That's a fun, real quick, but when you're on Turok, that is a fun N64 game. Turok Dinosaur Hunter. I had a
Never
lot of
played
blast playing that.
Darth Vader, Tulok. Is it the old woman who beat up the guy? I don't know.
Oh, hold on. Try Tuklo. Tuklo.
Tuklo.
There we go. But like, you're gonna see a black and white picture.
Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, like you guys saw a picture of her. That's
Yeah.
I don't know if they put I need to talk to her. I don't know if they put prosthetics and shit on her, but
I was about to say these do not look like the same women.
No.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah. What the hell do they do?
she's also super. Like, she's like 6 foot.
Oh
What?
wow.
Holy crap. Outstanding.
That's wild. So and yeah, there are instances like you said, Josh, where like maybe Alaqua Cox, like her character is supposed to be a bodyguard for Kingpin, so she's not really going to be that pretty. Or for Iman Vellani, where she's kind of a nerdy, dumpy, frumpy, teenager, and she's just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to wear some grungy, baggy clothes. I don't care. But when they ascend to their superhero level of, I don't know, like, self actualization, I think you'd mentioned, what's her name? Alaqua Cox just kind of looks like a normal everyday woman that has like a very natural beauty about her. And I would say the same thing for Iman Vellani. Like, they don't have the sunken in Hollywood grotesque like model face that's like, ooh, with the big old lips and the cheeks that go like that. Like, they have a natural, very natural beauty about them.
That image right
which-
there in her yellow coat, that does not look good. That is, she looks like the one guy from Bad Robot or whatever, Mr. Robot. What's his name?
See, I
Yeah,
think she looks pretty here. Maybe it's
the
the
lead
yellow
actor.
coat, but I think she looks pretty.
I think it's a bad color for her. It makes her look a little sickly, but
Oh no!
But no, I think too. I think part of it's we're seeing females that are normal females and not these like, oh, I'm a size 00 and my clothes are still too big. Do you have
Yeah,
any
right.
like junior kid sizes I could wear? And as someone who's been in Hollywood, I can't tell you how many celebrities that I've met that I thought looked like normal or pretty people on screen, and you see them in person and they look like they are wasting away. They're so frail, so thin that it's like, okay, don't sneeze, they're gonna snap in half.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
So
starving
it's
artist,
one of those things.
literally.
But yeah. Oh gosh.
Well,
You mentioned the costume for Miss Marvel, but that was actually a whole plot point in the show of like she's in her just cosplay costume when she's going to the convention, and her mom
right.
is like, "Why are you wearing such revealing clothing?" And she's fully covered. It's just that it was fitted. It was meant as a joke, that super strict religious family, but
I don't know, man. I think she's very pretty.
yeah, she's a pretty girl.
From
She's also
right. But then you look at
tiny.
the picture and you're like, oh, okay, that's sad. I'm sorry.
But I will say to kind of counter what Josh said, because Josh had some very valid points. The other point is, like, if you look at the Marvel films themselves, namely, I mean, Black Widow herself, her costume, progressive. I mean, I guess more or less regressively, they consistently got rid of that gaze on Scarlett Johansson throughout every film, all the way up to the last Avengers film when she died.
Yeah.
It's like I really feel like there was a systematic reasoning or a system in place to get rid of any type of, lack of a better term, male gaze on the female actresses in their roles.
Dude, look at the first Avengers film opens on Scarlett Johansson's tits. Like it's her tied up to a chair and her tits are just out. Like, that's like,
but everyone wants to talk shit about Joss Whedon. Yeah, no, I do.
I know,
look,
I think, yeah, but you know my I like Josh's films, but yeah.
Equal opportunity. I think if you're gonna have superhero films, and Zack Snyder has talked about this, you should have people that are trying to hit this peak level of fitness. One for believability, but also to kind of be like, hey, there's a female gaze, a male gaze, they them gaze, like
male gaze, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are larger than life characters. I mean, we're not watching like a Paul Thomas Anderson film. They're not just regular average people, schlubs. These are people who are built to look like gods. We're going to want to visualize and idolize, like wrestlers. They're going to have those great physiques. We're going to be like, oh my God, they look amazing. But they're doing no favors by hiding a lot of it.
Yeah, I guess all I'm saying is that I think that some of these women have unfortunately been portrayed poorly from Disney because they, like you said, they don't want the male gaze, but they're totally fine with the female gaze. So there's a double standard there because every man takes his shirt off in the MCU films, but then they don't want men staring at beautiful women, so they have to make these naturally pretty women. They have to make them look terrible. So I feel bad because then once you look at pictures of Alaqua Cox or Iman Vellani and you go, wow, these are genuinely naturally beautiful women who have been portrayed to be kind of like very unattractive. It's a little unfortunate. So I think that's my overall point, that I've noticed this. It's not like it's not a direct statement to go, this is facts. I'm just noticing. Yeah. I'm stating something that I've noticed recently.
Now, I will say, if you look at Alaqua Cox from Hawkeye to Echo, she's put on a little weight. However, are you really going to go up to her and
she have a baby?
Did she have a baby?
She was having a kid during. Like she just had a kid. She had a kid and then came back to film the final episodes, which is why she's a little bit heavier in the face.
Oh, see, now I feel like a douchebag. But I was gonna say, like, what do you say to her? Like, hey, go run a little bit, because missing a leg.
They do that with the guys. They're like, hey, you have a scene where your shirt is off. You need to be doing fucking crunches because we need to see your 6-pack abs.
I meant because she's missing a leg. Like, hey, go run some laps. And she's like,
well, you could do like that line from the movie. Was it Knocked Up when they're telling Katherine Heigl, like, we can't legally tell you to lose weight. but we can suggest a tighter, tighten things up.
I didn't know she had a baby though. That's. I mean, depending on how she had it, that's a lot. Well,
It's a lot to for an actress. To
She
go
she looked out
through,
of shape.
permanent-
When I saw her, I looked at her and I'm like, there is no way humanly possible this woman who's out of shape clearly is going to take down Daredevil in a fight. There's no way.
You know who could take Daredevil in a fight? Aaron Sparrow, who is wandering the streets of Pasadena, I guess. Are you safe,
God.
sir? Can you
You're-
show us
you're-
signs of life?
You're goddamn right. I could take Daredevil.
Oh God.
I
The beard
could fight
alone.
I could fight a bear right now.
Oh God.
No, I'm no longer wandering the streets. I'm actually sitting in my car sobering up.
Oh, good. Okay,
Good.
I'm glad to hear that, brother. Because I just saw your private chat. So I was hoping that you are. I was hoping you were either at a bar, stationary, or that you were somewhere like in a Uber or a taxi or something. Hopefully not the Uber we had in LA that made us car sick. But
Oh my
yes.
god. Yeah, that was awful. No, okay, first of all, let me tell you guys, if you ever have the opportunity to try to go drink to drink with Chris Gore at a bar where he knows the bartender,
Oh boy.
don't do it. You cannot do it. It is an impossible task.
How fun though, man! What an eventful day. How was the convention?
The convention was actually really good. There was a lot of good vendors, a lot of good comic vendors. I actually, being that finances are a little tight right now, I was very well behaved. I didn't go crazy. I didn't buy anything
Wow.
outside of like any normal purchases. But man, I could have, because there was some good stuff there. There was some good like Silver and Golden Age books that were just gorgeous condition.
Oof.
Yeah, there's a lot of dealers that really brought their A game, so it was absolutely fantastic. So the
Oh,
con
yeah,
was
man.
really good, and then being that it's in Pasadena, it's like I had asked Chris earlier if he was going to the show, and he was like, I think I might, and then he was like, oh no, the game is on later, so I'm gonna be like just a block and a half away, at this bar watching the game, and I was like, okay, he's like, come on over, and I was like, okay, cool, and I thought, in my head, I'm like, okay, so I'll go there for an hour. Have a drink with Chris and then be out and be get back home in time for the stream. And obviously that didn't happen. But yeah, no, I'm feeling good. It was a great day.
Sweet, man. I'm glad to hear it. Hey, speaking of the game though, who won? Did Lions pull it out?
Nope. San Francisco.
No.
Yeah, it was a really good game though. I mean, I don't give a shit about football. I don't even really understand the rules all that well. But I was just inebriated enough to get super into it.
Damn it. What the hell, Lions? What are y'all
Lost by
doing?
3.
Whoa.
Oh,
Do
don't
not.
say weird fantasy Bosa stuff in here.
Fantasy Bosa. Max, I'm gay, not delusional, okay? And come on. We
Yeah, no
totally have
wonder you're
chance.
rooting for San Francisco, Josh.
Wait, can you imagine how much Nick Bosa has to hate living in San Francisco? Like, think
I don't
about
know.
it.
I don't know who Nick Bosa is.
He's an
a
outspoken
specimen.
Republican Trump supporter living in San Francisco. Like,
And he's a snack with 3 C's.
Oh, he's-
Aaron,
look.
so
I usually am not this forward, but he's hot as fuck. Anyways, carry on.
like I train in the gym to look like Nick Bosa. That's why I go to
Damn.
the gym. Like the dude is just a specimen of a fucking athlete. And yeah, he's super based. So but what's funny is like women probably have the dichotomy, like the dilemma where they're like, oh my god, he's so hot, like I love him so much, I want him to like take me home or whatever. Oh, but he's a Trump supporter, he's a Nazi, he's a devil. It's
Isn't
like,
that weird? Because it's like, oh, he's so hot. I love him so much. Except he won't drive me to get an abortion when he knocks me up. He'll
It's-
actually like take
Yeah.
responsibility for his actions.
Yeah,
he'll
it's like
actually be a
the
good
Elaine
father.
Bennis.
Oh,
Yeah, they're the Elaine Bennis
Oh,
of today.
yeah, very much so. Where she tries to date the mover,
Uber,
right?
yes.
Yeah,
But he's just so handsome.
yeah,
He's an anti-abortionist, yeah.
Yeah. Jerry goes,
Someday
and
we'll
his
repeal that law."
thoughts on abortion? And she's like, oh, well, I haven't asked him yet. Interesting. Yeah, well, dang, you had it all and you lost it, Lions. The hell are you guys doing over there? You were up by fucking 17 points.
17.
It
Yeah,
was so within their grasp.
That's
it was.
redonkulous. Absolutely redonkulous. But you know what isn't? The $5 from our main man, Dylan Lindsay. He says, hello, all. Do you guys think that the MCU would be in a worse or better state if Disney didn't buy it? Recent stuff has been bad, but it wasn't always. Well, Dylan, thank you so much for the $5, brother. I greatly appreciate the support. And you know what? I'll shoot this off to Josh, and we'll kind of go ring around the rosy here and kind of go around. What do you think about this? Do you think that the MCU would have been in a worse state if Disney didn't buy it?
Here's the thing, and this is what we need to keep in mind. Were it not for Disney, the MCU would not be what we know it to be today, because they still would have been using, different production companies, like different distributor. Like it would have been so separate and segregated that trying to get a cohesive like Avengers story and all that stuff out would just be impossible. Trying to keep a narrative with multiple different brands and multiple different films going like they did as they moved into phase 2 and phase 3, it wouldn't have happened. You would have had Paramount wanting to do stuff. You would have had Sony wanting to do stuff. You would have had 20th Century Fox wanting, like it would have just all gotten, my toys, and each one wanting to outdo or outperform or whatever the other studios.
I wonder if that could have posed competition, though. Like, I wonder if that kind of drive to outdo the other company would have garnered a lot of competition, and therefore trying to reach a status that's like better than the next film, But whereas now it's just kind of, we have a formula, stick to it, and just produce content, right? There's no competition because they know they own everything.
What I'm saying is, if you had like Paramount and Universal with their own films, they're not going to be inclined to be friendly with one another. We're getting that now with Sony and Marvel.
Right.
But Sony doesn't really have much of a leg to stand on. And as much as they might want to take credit for the box office of Spider-Man No Way Home,
right,
it was Marvel's people that came in and wrote the film. It was Marvel's selection to direct it. Like, all that's kind of Marvel's thing. Sony's just like, yeah, sure, here, you can use our toys that we own the film rights to, and we'll get the money and all that, and we'll split it between box office versus toys and merch sales. But I mean, seriously, if you were a studio and you had another studio come and say, hey, let's make an agreement. We're going to make a film using a character that you have the rights to. You get the proceeds, but we get to use the character and we get like the merchandise sales. Not a bad deal. Like, you're not really putting much in the game. So
now, what was the moment that Disney bought Marvel? Because like, I remember it being good. Avengers, Cap, Winter Soldier was really good. Like those, I think, was it Civil War was that Disney?
No. So Disney got the rights going into Avengers. So they had already started pre-production on Avengers, but Disney got the rights going into it because there's the whole thing about the power that these movies were going to have with Disney backing it, Disney's marketing backing it, and Disney hadn't completely shut the bed yet. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Disney wasn't full of activists yet. It was still full of people who wanted to make money.
What a concept.
I know, right?
Yeah. Drew, what do you think? You think Disney would have been, or Marvel would have been better off with or without Disney?
Honestly, if you really think about it, it's back in 2008, I think. 2008 when Disney bought Marvel. I mean, honestly, I think everything played out for the best. It's just the people in charge. That's the problem. Just the people they've had in charge. I wouldn't say it's Disney. If Ike Perlmutter were still there, maybe things would be run differently now. Who knows? Maybe we got half the shit that we got. I would say it.
I was gonna say Disney bought Marvel late 2009. So
2009.
Yeah, I was still working at Boom when that happened. because
Wow.
when I left Boom in 2010, or I should say when I was fired from Boom in 2010, and then they lost the Disney license shortly thereafter. Because Disney was like, well, we don't trust you with this license anymore. Without, we like Sparrow, we don't trust you anymore, and Disney lost the license. They tried to obfuscate that with Disney bought Marvel and Marvel wants to do these books. Marvel never wanted to do Disney standard comics. They never wanted to do it, and that's why they never did. But it was a convenient smokescreen for Boom, as opposed to saying like we fired the guy that Disney liked and then we printed a bunch of stuff without approval.
Sorry, I was reading this this super chat from DJ Smith, and it's got me thinking. So I apologize if I don't respond right away, because damn, that's a good question, DJ. But before we get to that, thank you again, Dylan Lindsay, for that fantastic question, and thank you to my panelists, for my co-hosts, for taking the lead on that. Because the only thing I really know about the MCU stuff is the films. I don't know the back end, like kind of behind the curtain stuff. I don't know a lot of that. I go to these guys for that information because they tend to know a lot about that stuff. So,
well, and I would say for that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we still don't know really on the record. I mean, there's a lot of rumors about he said, she said, but as far as I know, Josh, Aaron, like there really isn't that much out there, and it's that solid evidence of like this happened, this is what he did to him. He screwed her over. I don't think there's that much out there, is there? Or am I wrong?
There's not a
maybe
ton.
in the book.
Yeah, I don't even think there's much in the book. I will say there was the purchase happened in 2009. Joss Whedon was hired to be the director of Avengers. They brought him in. They had him do script work, like last minute script work to Captain America to try to punch it up. They had already started filming Captain America. He wrote Avengers. They had him come in, do rewrites to Thor, Dark World. But his rewrites to Thor Dark World were literally just every Loki scene. Joss Whedon wrote every Loki scene.
Nice.
But that's when they came through and they started branching things out. That was one of his first things, was to map out the universe. And then when you get to, and honestly, we should have seen, the writing on the wall all the way back then. But when you get to Avengers Age of Ultron, a lot of what people were unhappy with, Joss Whedon was very vocal about in interviews, of being like, the whole like Thor thing and the underground well that people were like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. Like Joss Whedon said in an interview, he was like, yeah, like I didn't want it in there. I was forced to have it in there, to the point that I thought the Hawkeye stuff could lead to real interesting storytelling, showcasing humanity and what it's like to be a human being versus these gods that he's around, and family, and what are the stakes versus your stakes. And they pretty much put a gun to my head and said, you're doing the Thor well scene or you lose the Hawkeye scene.
Wow.
So, yeah. I mean, there's
honestly,
that kind of stuff, and then the infighting between the Marvel panel, and the executives. But
I will take whales any day over fucking screaming goats from Taika Waititi. That's pretty much it.
Not whales as in the animal, like he's in the underground water well, having the visions.
Oh, whale. Oh, how you said whale. Okay.
Well.
Yeah.
I'm from Texas. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. DJ Smith for $10. DJ, thank you so much, brother. And this was a great question, man. I like this a lot. He says, fun question for the night. Would you rather live in Gotham in a high-rise apartment working for Wayne Enterprise, or live in Metropolis working for Lex Luthor, but in a low-rent apartment?
Metropolis,
Aaron,
no question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Metropolis. Right. Because if something goes wrong, I'm way more likely to be saved.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm gonna say Gotham, because the people at Superman's. Hold on. Like you're mostly dealing with street crime, and I'm a true Texan born and raised. I'm gonna have my license to carry. I'm gonna feel okay. I lived in fucking Los Angeles. Like I walked through downtown. All right, like Skid Row.
Not recently, dude. Come on.
I walked through downtown in between Skid Row and the LA River and Union Station on a daily basis while it was dark at night, and there were weekly there are bodies being found over in that area.
Jesus.
Like, it's not too far off from what Gotham is. All right, but I'm gonna feel okay. We're good. Also, if you're living in Metropolis, the kind of schmoes that Superman's fighting, they're like knocking down high rises. All right, so
I don't know, man.
I
Gotham,
think-
I feel like you're gonna pull your gun to defend yourself, and then Batman's gonna show up and kick your ass, going, "Guns is a coward weapon. We don't use it. We don't need it."
Yeah, and before you know,
Absolutely.
you're gonna be locked up at Tossin Arkham for possessing the gun. And you're gonna be the bad guy.
He's gonna
But,
take your
but
gun,
it
and then
also-
two blocks later, you're gonna be stabbed by the Penguin.
Yes.
Or on top of that, Joker is gonna be raising war in the city and blowing up the city. Then Bane's gonna be blowing up the city, and then there's gonna be a Arkham War going on. It's like there's like, every other villain of Batman's Rose Gallery is taking over the goddamn city.
Guys,
no, I can't do it.
And that big earthquake.
I'm thinking 2000 Batman and before, not Tom King Batman. All right, I mean,
No, you
Oh.
get Tom King Batman, and you eat that.
Yes. You said Gotham, so you chose the shittiest version of Gotham, which is Tom King's Gotham. So I will say, I think you chose Gotham just because you like Batman. I really do think that Gotham would be a shithole. It's a nightmare to live there. It would be LA, San Francisco, New York, put together, even more so. It would just be the worst of the worst type of city. And just existing, you would feel unsafe. Whereas at least in Metropolis, you're working for a businessman who is competent, who's hardworking. You have a great job. You probably feel a lot safer. Everything is way cleaner, and the people are probably better there too. So your style of living in Metropolis is going to be way better.
Listen, LexCorp has great benefits.
Yeah, it does. He cares for his workers, man. I'm sorry, but he does. So
They got Taco Tuesday, and they got a great gym.
Casual Fridays. Yeah.
you're clearly not getting great benefits because you're a peon employee that's having to live in a low rent apartment.
A low rent apartment.
The dental plan at LexCorp is amazing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You probably aren't You're probably not in a position to qualify because he says you're living in a low income housing, a low rent apartment.
If I'm in a low rent apartment,
that's because Metropolis is so beautiful and crime free that the rent in the really great areas is way too expensive because it's so beautiful. But you're still, in a low rent apartment, you're still in the safest city in the United States.
Also, the fact that you're in Gotham with a higher paid job and a high rise apartment, you're probably living in like the Century City area of greater Los Angeles.
doesn't
where
matter.
it's like, I'm struggling with the trials of life today. I don't know what other Porsche I should buy to have my 18th Porsche.
It doesn't.
Yeah, but
no,
living
but even
in
if
the high rise, living in the high rise of Gotham, I'm way more likely to be at a fancy party eating shrimp cocktail, and then it turns out all those shrimp have Joker faces on them because
Yeah.
Joker has decided to target the high end community.
Yeah, all those villains want to kill people. Like if I were in that high rise, they want to kill me living in the high rise because we're the elites of Gotham, and they want to tear down
Who
the
do you think
elites.
Anarchy's coming after, Josh? Who do you think Anarchy's coming after? It's me in the high rise.
By the way, Aaron, I think we are getting a little feedback from you from the car. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. I don't know if you're driving or not.
I am. Should I drop out? I feel like I've added some fun.
It's up to you, brother. If you want to mute or if you want to drop out, I will totally leave that up to you. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. Yeah, you've been the life of the party, hanging out with Chris Gore, being a little buzzed, a little tipsy. So
I'm sober enough to drive, so I'm doing okay.
good.
I'm all good. But yeah, I don't want to disrupt the stream with feedback. So let me see. How can I mute it from my phone here?
It's that one
Yeah, as long
button
as-
there.
we
There, not
just
there,
hear.
there.
Yeah.
Why do I
Aaron.
I'm a StreamYard guest? I'm not a regular. What is happening?
Well, your tagline is just "I'm so drunk." So,
I was when I wanted to log in, but now I'm okay.
yeah, which
All
I
right,
do like.
I will let you guys. I will let you guys go. But yeah, thank you so much, and I had fun for my brief pop in here.
Of course, man. Yeah, thanks for popping in, and we're glad you had a great day. It sounds like it was a blast.
Absolutely. All right, I will see you guys on Tuesday with Josh with Pop My Culture.
Hell yeah, sounds good, brother.
Later.
Get home safe.
Later, man.
Bye.
Oh, that was fun.
Well, thank you, Aaron, for being here, and yeah, like I said, get home safe, man. Text us when you get back, and we love hearing from you. So I do have one last topic for this evening because this one has gotten me. This one made me upset, and I think most people within the comics realm know somewhat about Sean Gordon Murphy. If you guys don't, he is most notably well known for his Batman White Knight series. Drew, would you say that that's fair to say that that was kind of his claim to fame right now?
That was what made him a superstar. You know, he had other
Okay.
things before that. He had, you know, the Time Bros. He did with Mark Miller. He did. He had some cover work. He had I think Tokyo Jesus or something. He did. I
Yeah.
forget what the hell it's called. But yeah, but Batman White Knight is what made him a superstar. That's what catapulted him to supreme success.
And he's an incredible illustrator, and he's a good storyteller too. I think Batman White Knight still, those trade paperbacks do extremely well. So Sean Gordon Murphy's stuff speaks for itself. He's an incredibly talented individual. He's I think he is a good businessman for comparatively to other comic book creators. I think he knows how to deal with his finances and knows what to do in terms of that. He and Perch have talked about this multiple times on his podcast, but this was a recent Kickstarter, Sean Gordon Murphy's Zorro Man of the Dead graphic novel. This was released, January 6th, or sorry, excuse me. It was last updated on January 6th. But Drew, do you know potentially when this was first created?
I think it was last fall. It was around the time when I launched Unholy Nightmare, from what I recall.
All right.
And,
So
yeah.
within that period of time, he's had almost 3,000 backers, pledged $300,000, and this is created by Massive Publishing, which is the kind of Whatnot publishing group. When I first saw this, I was going to go all in. A brand new Zorro story from Sean Gordon Murphy. Look at some of this artwork, some of these covers. You were looking at like some of the interior pages that he was showing off. It felt like a return to like classic noir type, or like classic
Pulp. There's
I don't know,
another
pulp.
Pulp story.
Yes, absolutely, man. So I saw this campaign and I was like, I cannot wait for this. And as you guys will see, the book is about Zorro. That is Zorro, Man of the Dead graphic novel. Zorro, Man of the Dead, massive direct reserve. Zorro returns and massive deluxe direct reserve campaign. The reason why I'm saying Zorro so much is because you guys will see in just a moment here, this is one of the most disingenuous bait and switch Kickstarters and campaigns I may have ever seen published. The legacy of Zorro. All of this was a bait and switch to promote a book that the main character is actually this woman here, Rosa, who is Zorro's daughter, who, as Sean Gordon Murphy would say, happens to be a lesbian, which she doesn't happen to be a lesbian because Sean Gordon Murphy made her, wrote her as a lesbian. And it's part of her character. Kind of, because her character is just badass lesbian. That's her character. In the actual book itself, which has only released one issue so far. So this is just what I have judged the book off of this one issue, the main character is actually the daughter, Rosa. So the book is not about Zorro, which is this Zorro, but in fact the daughter of Zorro. And the first few pages of the book is essentially what I thought we were going to get. Because when you look at the first few pages, you're like, hell yeah, I am here for this awesome, fun adventure pulp comic book and a return to form with a classic character that we haven't seen in years. This is all, you know, the main man, the guy who we've come here for, Zorro. But instead, on like the fourth page, he gets killed by the mob. And the daughter and son are left to fend for themselves. And we, you know, 20 years later, or however long it is, we see Rosa, who I hate to say this, but I legitimately thought this was a man when I first saw the
You
panel.
want to talk about the laziest of fucking cliches? There you go.
100%.
You got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Man right there. There we go.
And like I said before, her character is just lesbian. She goes to the church. She's driving around her hometown. And, oh, guess what they have a conversation about? I'm a lesbian. And the priest says, that's okay. You're a lesbian because I know you and you're a lesbian. And she goes, but I'm rooming with a girl and she's my girlfriend because I'm a lesbian. And he's like,
Bullshit.
I know you're a lesbian. It's like
Bullshit.
the whole thing is just,
Look,
I'm a lesbian.
Hispanic culture is very much rooted in Catholicism. For a priest to say that, a Hispanic priest, that is absolute total bullshit. He would never, ever, ever, ever say that. And I'm a Catholic. I can say that because I know that firsthand. I've been down there for mission trips. That would never fucking happen in any way, shape, or form.
I don't know, Drew. This is Sean Gordon Murphy really did his research about this culture because
up there in Vermont. Clearly.
Yeah, exactly. So then we also have a character named Trejo because isn't that funny, guys? He looks like Danny Trejo. And I shit you not. Like, even if you're saying, no, that's not a joke. His name isn't actually Trejo, right? Nope. His name is legitimately Trejo.
But a foot taller.
But yeah, actually like 2 feet taller.
Yeah.
But if you read this dialogue, his name is just Trejo. Isn't that fucking brilliant? Isn't that just isn't that so funny? Get it, guys? It's because it's just Danny Trejo in the book. But like I said, the book follows the lesbian's daughter. And unfortunately, when we go back to the campaign, there is not a single mention of Rosa. There's not a single mention of the daughter. There's not a single mention of Zorro dying on the fourth page of the book. So this whole campaign is a complete lie. It is disingenuous. It's disgusting. It's slimy because he's trying to bank off of the character and subverting expectations. He's the Ryan Johnson of crowdfunding right now to basically say, oh, hey, I know you guys wanted Zorro. And I know I gave you guys 2 or 3 pages of actually Zorro doing really great things for his city, but we're not actually going to go that route. We're going to give you Rosa, right? Because everyone wants to read about Rosa, even though it was never, not a single time mentioned in this entire Kickstarter. If you read the background story, it says Don Quixote meets Narcos and Sean Gordon Murphy's Zorro Man of the Dead 4-issue miniseries. In this modern reimagining, there it is. The writer-artist behind DC Comics' Batman White Knight uses his signature style to deliver a fresh take on the legendary swashbuckling hero. Diego is a young man who is convinced that he's Zorro. As a child, he suffered a psychotic break after witnessing the murder of his parents by the drug cartel in his village, basically talking about them killing Zorro. To cope with the trauma, he embraced 200-year-old legend Zorro by donning the mask, training with the sword, and declaring war on Narcos for the sake of his people. In this deluxe crowdfunding campaign set to coincide with Dia de los Muertos, Massive Publishing is thrilled to celebrate this iconic character whose legacy is reflected an enduring struggle for justice and the indomitable spirit of Hispanic culture. Now, even though that sounds like, well, it sounds like the son is going to be the main character of this whole thing, right? It sounds like he's going to don the character of Zorro, the title of Zorro. But you can't say that, because even in Sean Gordon Murphy's podcast with Perch, his direct quote is that Rosa is the main character of the book. So I'm going to play this, and we'll kind of listen here to what he has to say. Him and Perch, for context, are talking about YouTubers and kind of the woke culture and why people are saying like this is woke or that is woke, and why so many YouTubers are kind of hanging on to that culture war kind of topic of discussion.
And instead, this looks repetitive, boring, terrible.
Yeah.
And I think
Let me slow it down a little bit.
it's a healthier place, because it starts to just become, look, we're not going to put up with having an argument over politics. Instead, it just sucks. And I don't care why you think it sucks. It sucks. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
And that becomes healthy. And I understand the narrative, and I know people make money off of it, and they need to keep making money off of it and everything else. But it just, there's an exhaustion to it where at some point, we would like to just watch something or read something we enjoy.
Yeah.
And not have to go through the purity test in any direction in order to get that thing.
Right. Yeah. For Zorro, I have the main character is actually a sister character who happens to be a lesbian.
Oh,
and someone was like, oh, you should definitely push that narrative and then dunk on conservatives and then try to upset the other side. And then maybe you can get covered by The Advocate, because I think this is like the first Zorro character that's gay, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck you. No, I'm not doing that. I mean, the point of the struggle of LGBT, when you arrive, you have to stop playing that game at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be important that you're gay. It should be as boring as your hair color. So
that's kind of what he talks about in this clip. And he goes, no, fuck that. I don't want to dunk on the Republicans with this character or whatever. And yet he does a complete fucking bait and switch and never mentions Rosa in his campaign at all. Even if you do like a Command F to try and find her name, she's not in here. So I don't know why he would say
he knew if he made Rosa
Right.
front and center, talked about her, he would not have gotten half of what he had made on that Kickstarter campaign. And he
that
knows
300,000 would have been 100,000.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot of money. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely. But I mean, even look at how fucking sly, it's just sneaky. It's slimy. Even the interior pages that he shows on the campaign, Zorro. Oh, sorry, hold on. I need to share this again. Shoot. Wait for it. There it is. Here we go. Zorro interior page. Narcos, Zorro on the interior page. More Zorro fighting in the interior pages. All the covers, Zorro. I don't know who this woman is. All the rewards, more Zorro. Another woman, but the main character here is Zorro. That's who he's selling to people. That's the main character. So I am very surprised that he even mentioned it in Perch's interview. But if he didn't, I mean, I know I was going to back this. I know Drew was thinking of backing this. I know even your boy Zach backed it originally and then had his pledge refunded because he didn't want to have something like this be a complete bait and switch. And now we know, now that the comic book, at least issue 1, has come out, because this is the trade paperback. But now that issue 1 has come out, we 100% know that he was not lying. We follow Rosa as the main character of the Zorro book. So it's to me, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's not that bad. But for me, and I can only speak for myself, this was a complete lie and a complete disingenuous and honestly slimy thing to do to your fans, to your backers. And I'm not really sure how they're going to respond if they haven't seen this podcast. And look at the dislike ratio. It's almost 1/3. of all of the likes and dislikes. So almost 20,000 people watched this. I don't know. It's it to me, this is a bad look. This is a super bad look. I would, if you guys want to weigh in on this, I would love to get your take as well. But I just wanted to mention this as kind of our last topic to discuss tonight, because there's really nothing about this that seems honest. So
I look, my only take is going to be this. It's been one issue. Clearly there's still a Zorro character coming. Even some of the covers you showed are the Sun Zorro. Do I think he withheld information? Yes. But even based on like this first issue, I almost feel like Rosa's the villain. So I mean, typically your leads are going to be your hero and your villain.
Right.
So I'm definitely more of the mindset of like, let's wait and see. Sean's usually pretty good about not feeding into the bullshit. And yeah, we get kind of lesbian stuff up front, but if we go the rest of the book without a lesbian dialogue running through the entire book, I will no, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, 100%.
if you, how many issues is this supposed to be?
4.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you
So
got
we've already
3
gotten a
issues.
quarter. We've already
Yeah,
gotten a
so-
quarter of it. So
Well, look, I don't know much about Zorro. Zorro is not one of my favorite characters. I just,
right.
I don't-
Yeah.
I don't know the lore of Zorro. Like, I don't know if we go back to whenever Zorro created, if the lore of Zorro was also that there had been a legend that inspired
that his
this person
lesbian
to
daughter.
become. No, that a legend inspired someone to become Zorro. You know, like I
Right,
don't know
right.
if that's kind of what the. I have no deep resonance with Zorro, so for me, it's just I don't care. I have
and that's fair.
other thoughts, but Drew, jump in.
I'll say
He was like,
there's a,
"Eh,
it's like where to start with this. I respect him as a creator, but if you look at his stuff in especially the Batman line, he really does have another focus on a lot of the female characters, and one of which was a Thunder Thighs Robin. I called her that, Thunder Thighs, because she was a completely overweight, out of shape female character that Jason Todd made a Robin. And it's like, why the hell are you making this girl who looks like she just had 20 tacos from Taco Bell Robin? I don't understand. But anyway, this book, like you said, in that interview, in issue 1, she is very much clearly front and center, the focus. And I'm not coming to Zorro for Rosa. I'm a longtime Zorro fan. I've been a fan of Zorro since I was a kid. I watched all the black and white movies. I remember watching the show on the Disney Channel, all the movie, the new movies. Zorro, even Zorro the Gay Blade was fun to a point. That's a very funny movie. But this, I didn't enjoy this. I did not. There's nothing to enjoy about this. It was very much Rosa chastising even the for that. Sean
brother
Murphy may enjoy
chastising
that.
the brother.
Yeah. And it's like Sean Gordon Murphy may enjoy that. He may get a kick out of that. I don't. I'm not here to see my heroes get chastised, especially a one like Zorro. So and plus I would not doubt if by the end of the last issue we see Rosa as Zorro at the very end.
Ooh, should we put bets on it now, boys? No, I'm with Josh in terms of like Zorro's not my favorite character in the world. I haven't read all his books. I don't know his history. I think the basic I guess my point that I really wanted to drive home, and I hope that people kind of understand this, is that regardless of whether it follows Rosa the lesbian, it's like that's Sean Gordon Murphy's creative decision. Tell people that is your creative decision. Because when people come to this book thinking that they are going to get a fun, action-packed adventure pulp comic book about Zorro, and they end up reading about Rosa, even though people could love the lesbian archetype and they want that character front and center, if they buy a Zorro book, may kind of be turned off from the from the storyline, right? You buy chicken and you get tofu, you're not going to be happy. And I think that's kind of what this is doing essentially. But yeah, I mean, even if say Rosa was out of the picture and it was the son taking on the mantle of Zorro, okay, but I would be much more understanding if that were the case. And that may be where the next 3 issues go, is the son taking on the mantle and saying, I'm going to become the new Zorro, just like my father, right? And it could be a great son, father-son relationship, avenging his father's death. That could be a great story. And yet it doesn't feel like we're going to get that, especially with Sean Gordon Murphy's own words saying that the lead character is Rosa. So as much as I would like to think, oh, you know what? No, Rosa is going to be the villain. She's going to work for the cartel and she's going to go against her brother. I don't see that happening, especially when she has such a large part to play in this book. Now, she is insufferable and her character does act like a villain, but I don't know if that is going to be the case or not. So I don't know. This really upset me. This really got me kind of fuming, because I hate when people are dishonest about this stuff. I hate when they lie, and just to promote a book based off of a character and then do a bait and switch. It is the Luke Skywalker. It is the Ryan Johnson tactic. And it's really,
again, and hold on, like this is what I'm gonna say. I think we're going a little too far, a little too early. Like this is one of my problems with
That's
fandom
fair.
right now. Is we are jumping to the extremes before shit comes out. And yes, there's been evidence to kind of support some of these things in some of these cases. I get it. But it's like, the conversation we had about the whole Iron Fist thing, everyone's fucking losing their mind.
Yeah, that's right.
That a rumor came out about an Iron Fist show with a lead female. Like, Daniel RPK's, he's often right, but he misses the mark 90% of the time before he gets the 10% right that everyone remembers. So keep that in mind. 2, if you watch the show and you know that they're keeping the continuity from the Netflix shows, then you already know Iron Fist is a female right now. But like, people are losing their minds, and it made me start thinking like, okay, what happens when we get to this point that like people are losing their shit, that the mention of a gay character or the mention of a lesbian character or the mention of a female is making people just fucking lose it? What happens when we get to James Gunn, who we often feel like, for the most part, does a pretty good job bringing characters to life? What happens when he gets to the Authority and it gets announced that you've got Midnighter, who I think most of us will agree is probably one of the best gay characters in comics, gets announced, and people start losing their fucking mind because he got announced as a gay character. Like, it's a fucking base character, but people are going to give up on this before they give it a chance. I would have mentioned there's a lesbian character if I felt confident in my writing, which I don't think Sean Gordon Murphy's the best writer, but he's a hell of a lot more competent than anyone else writing for the big 2 for the most part. If I felt confident in my writing, I wouldn't want to mention it. I'd be like, jump in, just go with it, and then see what you think by the end. However, that being said, would I have spent 75% of the first issue focusing on that character? Fuck no.
Right.
So that's kind of my soapbox.
No, I love that, man, because you're right. People get so over sensationalized because what titles make the headlines? New gender swapped character or sexuality swapped character, or new female character is going to replace this character. We had it with Silver Surfer. Remember? And they were like, we're going to do a female Silver Surfer. Oh my God. And it's like, well, you do have Nova. So are they going to focus on Nova? Right? Or are they going to do like a Norrin Rad and then he's like Inshallah Ball, who his wife? Are we going to focus on that? Like, what, there are female characters in that universe, but what are we focusing on? But people will go straight to, oh, it's a gender swap.
Or it's just another example of MCU. It's just
yes, yeah, absolutely. And there are perfect examples of MCU. There are absolutely, MCU fully exists. Even Grace Randolph herself was like, even though it's offensive, the MCU does exist. And it's like, wait, but you, what are you saying? But yeah, so it does exist, but we have to be very intentional about what we call out so that, or what we call out, because it can't all just be MCU, or it all can't just be woke. We have to be very intentional about what we say.
I'll say Rhino Helix put they've spent too much goodwill on ruining the existing characters with lore ruining race, gender, sexuality swaps. Look, I agree. I'm not arguing against that at all. But my point is, if you go into every project coming out looking for what you think you're gonna hate that project. Period.
Sure.
If you go in looking for the stuff that you dislike, like that's what you're looking for, that's what you're gonna find. And it's not to say that if you went in with an open mind, you wouldn't see it at all. But if you went in with an open mind, you're gonna find a more balanced assessment of the book. But when you go in trying to target something or look for something, that's what you hone in on. And a lot of times people will do this, give something separation, give it a few years, come back to it, and they're like, well, that wasn't as prevalent as I remember it being. Yeah, because it wasn't your world. Like, we're making a bad habit of doing the opposite of what these writers are doing. These writers are making a lot of these things about certain aspects. And because of that, we're looking for those aspects in everything we're looking at or watching or reading. Like, we've got to learn to like back off a little bit too. Like, there's some people that I think do deserve the benefit of the doubt. I do think Sean Gordon Murphy is one of those people that to a degree deserves that benefit of the doubt. It's not like it's What's Her Nuts from Hot Girl coming in to write this book, like
you don't want Jadzia Axelrod writing
that person.
Come on. Yeah.
And look, I wasn't even trying to be blatantly offensive by saying What's Her Nuts in that case, but it's, look, if the shoe fits, fucking wear it.
I mean, she does have nuts. So.
She's a she and she has nuts. Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. No, that's great. And so I think that is what is upsetting to people though, Josh, because you said people are probably going to come into this project with an open mind thinking, oh man, I can't wait to read this Zorro book. This is going to be so much fun, blah, blah, blah. I can't, the artwork looks beautiful. The story sounds fun. I'm here for it. And then when they get it, they're not necessarily looking for, woke content, right? Because they're probably just thinking it's going to be a fun Zorro book. But all of a sudden you get the bait and switch, and that's when people go, what the fuck is this shit, right? And I think that is kind of why people call it out so quickly, is because they've seen it before, and when there's smoke there's fire, and they go, oh man, this is gonna happen again, so.
But Max, even to your point, you made the comment that they killed Zorro in the first 4 pages. In his breakdown on the page, or in his campaign, he talks about how Zorro is killed and this kid has this manifestation. Like, it's there.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that's not there is the weight that this character carries. And again, it's one issue. Like, it's one. And this is kind of the point that I had with Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm all on board with people being upset that there wasn't much Spider-Man in Ultimate Spider-Man. But if this book runs for 50, 60 issues, whatever, and it's one issue that there's really not much Spider-Man in, but the rest of these like 49 issues give us like really bomb Spider-Man stuff, no one's going to leave this thinking like, yeah, that's the book that really didn't have Spider-Man. We've got to like learn. I think we have to learn how to angle this discussion of, this is not the best way to start. If this is how it continues, it's going to be a mistake, and he sold out.
Yeah. And that's a good point.
Yeah. I would say we need to keep in mind that Sean Gordon Murphy was the target of these bullshit type attacks too, of trying to provide balanced ideas.
Well, Mags,
read. And then he was, called out and ran through the mud and excommunicated and everything else because he wasn't left enough, or he wasn't extreme enough, or he wasn't gay enough, or whatever was going on. Like,
no, for sure.
Yeah.
There are respectable things about him, and I like his interviews with Perch. I think that he has some really great insight on the comic book industry itself. For me, though, like you said, in the initial thing, when he talks about the son, I'm cool with that. If he goes, the son becomes Zorro, like I said, that can be a beautiful story about a father and a son relationship, and the son redeeming, or getting his revenge on this cartel and fighting for redemption for his father. But nowhere in this is this about Rosa. And that's the thing. It's like, I can live with the new Zorro. I can live with Zorro even dying. But when you introduce the Rosa character, and like you said, it is the first issue. But if we go 4 for 4 issues and Rosa is like the character, I'm gonna be pissed. So
Instead,
Right.
it's not like she's a sympathetic character either. She is an absolute bitch.
Right.
throughout this whole damn
It's not
comic. She's
enjoyable.
not a likable character.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I will say this. Like, we know that this new Zorro, the son, is going to be going against the cartel. We know Rosa's involved with the cartel.
Mhm.
Like, to me, that's a captivating story. Does he realize he's going to be fighting his sister? Because the whole confessional thing is like, she mentions that she's not speaking publicly about what she does. Like,
Right.
people close to her don't know that she's involved with the cartel. So you've got Zorro, her brother, that's going to come in and start fighting the cartel, and it's just going to be bad guys that he's trying to kill. And now suddenly, it's not just a bad guy he's trying to kill; it's his own sister. It's someone else that took the events that happened to him, and now he's got to decide, how do I handle this? Like, she is no different than the people I'm killing, but she's different because she's my sister. Does that mean she's not worthy of my blade, or is she worthy of my, like, you know, it's
Right.
I think we're potentially going to get an interesting dynamic.
Okay.
Again, I
And-
could be wrong. We could get 3 more issues of Rosa, and at that point I'll be like, what the fuck, Sean Gordon Murphy? What were you doing? Like, you retard.
That would be a cool story to have. Even if he did something like this, I think Jamin said he could have made a campaign Queen of Swords instead of Zorro, because that's a female version, and like just made it all about Rosa, and then we could see how that campaign did, and you know, maybe it would have done fantastic, right? But it's the, you know, I'm afraid that when you promote, like if you were to promote a Conan book, and then instead of Conan, the whole book is about Belit, even if it's a great story, that's awesome. And I love that. And that's fantastic. But make the story called Belit, title it Belit in Valeria or whatever it is, not Conan. And
Agreed.
I think that's where I think people are going to be really upset.
And maybe my stance of the, like, just wait and see, is a lot of times just when you're talking technical craft of writing, when you're introducing characters, like your first, this is film scripts, but your first 15 to 20 pages are often dedicated to setting up your lead characters, whether it's the antagonist or the
Mhm.
protagonist. For me, we're still in that first little bit. I'm not freaking out because I don't like the character. I do think she's obnoxious. She's also, in my opinion, she's also the bad guy. So I'm just like, stab her. Even if you don't
Maybe.
kill her, just fucking stab her. Like,
Maybe,
give her.
yeah.
Everyone's so focused on bonus holes. Give her a bonus hole. There you go.
There you go.
But you know, I'm very much in a wait and see. I don't think it's worth beating down the doors yet. I think it should be like this isn't the best start. I think that's where we should be. But I think everyone's so caught up in having to, like, oh my God, woe is me, clutch my pearls. Let's
Yeah.
just calm down for at
No.
least another issue.
No, I want to be upset, Josh. Let me be upset that my Zorro book was taken from me, and instead we get an insufferable lesbian character who's going to be the focus of the whole damn thing. I want Zorro.
I want Zorro. And
I
I want it now.
Zorro.
I demand
Yeesh.
satisfaction.
I
Yes,
mentioned at the beginning of the stream that Nick Bosa's hot as fuck, and suddenly Max and I are done. We are done. This whole thing has been subcontext. How dare you?
How dare you mention how hot Nick Bosa was? I thought I was the only hot one. No, it's I'm upset by it. I think it's really shitty to do.
Yeah.
To me, I read this and just I find it completely dishonest, like I said. But I do tend to get worked up over things and sensationalized about things because I've seen what has happened previously. And so even after reading one issue, my immediate reaction is going to go, oh, what the fuck, right? So you are completely right, Josh. We a lot of people tend to over sensationalize things, and it's all about clicks. It's all about you know being triggered or whatnot. But you know that's where I'm at, and you should let me be upset. No,
That's
I'm kidding.
fair. I just had to add the counterpoint. That's all.
No, this has been my favorite segment tonight because
Ooh.
these are like legitimate arguments and criticisms that actually get people somewhere, right? Like
For sure.
legitimate discourse that actually progresses the conversation. That I really enjoy. So it feels like I'm in my comic shop again. I'm glad that we all agreed that he is a snack with 3 C's. I think
Three
that's fair.
C's.
3
I don't know if
Cs.
Drew agreed though. He said
Drew,
three
you got to.
flavors.
Do you agree? Come on.
Drew, do you know what Nick Bosa looks like?
Yeah. Oh, I know. I trust.
Okay.
I was watching the game. Yeah.
No.
He's not my
Google.
type.
You need to like. Oh.
Wait,
Drew
what'd he say?
likes. He said he's not his type. He's a little too thick.
Oh, okay. Well,
He's got
to
too
each
much
their own.
muscle. Yeah. All right.
he is a big boy. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey,
Well,
more
he's
for
a,
me
he's a
then,
defensive.
right?
He's a defensive lineman. He's like what?
Yeah.
Like 6'6", 300+ pounds. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah. This is actually a good this is a good counterpoint as well. Maybe if he'd released it to backers first instead of to shops, this wouldn't be a question.
Agreed.
Yeah, he
Ow.
released the single issues to shops. Backers will not get this graphic novel for another 3 months, right? Until all the single issues are out in shops. So they could read this whole series and be like, you know what? Nah, fuck this. Right. Now, granted, I think all the money has been collected from the Kickstarter campaign, but still, I mean, it isn't fair to your backers to be releasing things to the public and not to the actual backers. That's kind of shitty. So
Yeah, I think that's shitty. Honestly, if you're gonna have people, look, I know you were trying to protect the story, but I feel like if you're the backers, you should at least get the full story ahead
Yeah.
of time.
Oh, of course.
Or at the very least, like you should be able to have your hands on your graphic novel. Like it should ship and it should be in your hands before the 4th issue drops.
100%. Yeah. Rhino Helix says, yeah, how dare you, Josh, bring reason and logic into the conversation? Damn you.
Don't worry.
Speaking of
Oh,
go ahead.
heck yeah. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking of reason and logic, Rhino Helix became a YouTube member. Dude, Rhino, thank you so much for being a member. And just wait, brother. There's a ton of great content for you coming your way. Speaking of, Josh and I and our arguments and but also our good conversation. One of the things that the members will get is actually behind the scenes stuff. So when Josh and I watch Buffy and Angel and also some of the MCU films, we are going to do watch parties with the members. So if you guys want to join, we will offer that to members to come hang out with us while we watch Buffy, Angel, and some of the MCU films. So yeah, you'll be able to hang out with us, man. So welcome to Max's Man Cave. Welcome to the membership. So, but yeah, I think it really can be as simple as this. Just tell people what the story is going to be about. Be upfront with the audience and the backers. If you have a twist, or if there is a subversion, I think that's fine as long as it doesn't go against the expectation of the main character that you are trying to write or sell, right? Like if your selling point is this thing, but then you guys know what I'm trying to say. If you don't sell that thing, people are going to be upset. So
Agreed.
All right. Well, that is it for our topics for this evening. I will leave you guys with this. I wanted to ask my co-hosts here what they are currently reading and what they're currently watching, so that if you guys, my co-host is now just Josh. So Josh, what are you currently reading?
Well, let me start with
And,
what I'm watching, and then what we will be watching.
yeah.
So
'Cause I'd love to hear about it.
I'm late to the Reacher game, so I've watched season 1. I'm starting season 2. It's a solid show. I'm not going to say it's great, but it's a solid show. And then, as Max alluded to, we will be watching Buffy soon, which some of my reading outside of trying to keep up with comics, I'm going back. I have a lot of Buffy books, so I'm skimming back through them. So one of them that I'm reading right now is Why Buffy Matters, which Max will understand why I'm reading this stuff once we get to the episodes.
Okay.
But The other reading that I'm doing is I've been doing a lot of side reading for some writing projects that I'm working on.
Oh,
And
nice.
one of them I teased a little bit on Twitter before, but it's identities, and it's an espionage based story. But I've got Between Five Eyes, so I literally just picked this up yesterday.
Oh, wow.
But it kind of talks about how the Five Eyes, which are the five intelligence agencies from different countries that all work together. So we're in those Five Eyes.
Damn.
But it kind of goes through their relationships with each other, how they cooperate, send information. Yeah. So United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. They make up the Five Eyes. So,
Dude, that sounds
see.
legit.
How long ago was that? Yeah, how long ago was that written?
This,
Yeah.
hold please. Drew, talk about what you're reading, and I'll look up the answer for you. But I just
Okay.
picked it up Friday.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm currently reading 3 things right now. I'm reading a novel called Kings of Cocaine. It's a
Kings of
inside the
Cocaine. What's
Medellin-
that about?
It's a true story. It's inside the Medellin cartel. And talks about money, murder, the international corruption, everything involving the Medellin cartel. And
Yeah.
I'm also reading one of the Fantastic Four essential editions called Nobody Gets Out Alive. And,
Is that John Byrne?
No, this one is by Tom DeFalco.
Okay. Nice. Tom
And,
DeFat. Oh,
hello?
okay. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My connection.
We
goes bad
heard
again.
Tom DeFat, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, Tom DeFalco.
Yeah, Tom DeFalco and Paul Ryan on the art, and I love Paul Ryan's like one of my favorite Fantastic Four artists, and Supreme by Alan Moore. I'm reading that,
Ooh.
and right now, since I'm doing a lot of
Nice.
writing, I just have background noise on, so I'm just rewatching Mad Men. I got Mad Men playing in the background.
Ooh.
I just love listening to it, listening to that dialogue all day. It's fantastic.
Okay. Nice. Yeah,
Drew,
go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say, to answer your question, this was written in 2020. So
Okay, well, I'm gonna check that out.
Very nice. Very nice. So I will say I have recently started rewatching the Trigun series. I'm a weeaboo now because I love anime. So no, I'm kidding. But no, Trigun is phenomenal. I really enjoy that show. So I've been rewatching that just kind of for fun to try and get into the headspace of like rewatching old shows that I love, or watching new shows that I will learn or come to love as well. Then the other thing I've been watching a lot on YouTube has been a lot of EFAP stuff, and then I think there was one other thing. Those are the two main ones that I tend to watch right now. For my reading material, though, so I picked this up last week. This is called Defenders of the West. Here, I'll go. Now we're talking, by Raymond Ibrahim. This is essentially a collection of chapters of some of the men, the heroes who have fought for the sake of the defense of Christianity during, I will say, extremist attacks from other nations. So chapter 1 is about Duke Godfrey. Chapter 2 is the Cid. Chapter 3, King Richard the Lionheart, Saint Ferdinand, Saint Louis, John Hunyadi, Skanderberg, and then chapter 8, the last one, is actually Vlad the Impaler, because Vlad Dracula was actually Christian Orthodox or Ethan Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, something like that. So with the coming season of 2024, what that is going to hold for Christian men and just men in general, I think this is extremely good read, and I think it's a very good book to probably prepare for, just because I think that there's going to be a lot of chaos and a lot of uncertainty, and there are going to be really heavy winds blowing every which way for 2024. And so I think as men, it'll be really good to be grounded in something like our faith. So I wanted to read this before something happens like that, to be really centered. So I've been reading that, and But for some escapist content, watching Trigun, EFAP. Oh, Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was the other one. All the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes stuff. I've just been more. I can't get enough of it. So you guys keep seeing me post shorts from it. So yeah, it's great.
When you watch Lord of the Rings, are you just sitting there like basking in the greatness of it with like a cheesy ass grin on your face? Like,
I just smile, dude. Like I legitimately just watch like a kid watching like his favorite sports team. I'm just
yeah. If we were all there together watching it, I'd be like, Drew.
look at this stupid.
Look at
idiot.
Max's. Oh shit, Drew's asleep. Okay, never mind. I'll take a
Yeah.
picture.
Oh yeah, Drew would be asleep for sure.
Awesome. Get a picture of Drew asleep.
Yeah. I did want to also say lastly, in terms of comics, I just started reading this just for funsies. I was bored and I was like, you know what? I haven't read this before. And this is a Chuck Dixon book, Team 7. And dude, this is like freaking it's like G.I. Joe on steroids. It's fucking awesome. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun just reading this because I've never read this before or seen it before. So this is like right up my alley of like right in the perfect era of like 90s image stuff that's just toxic masculinity, muscle bound heroes like fighting evil. It's awesome. So
Max, if you think that's good, you should read the New 52 version of Team 7.
no bullshit. They didn't make another Team 7 for
Oh,
New
they
52,
did.
they?
Oh, they did.
Oh no. How was it? Was it any
Not
good?
great.
Why am I even asking? Why am I
Yeah.
asking?
Yeah, not
Why?
great.
Why-
Hey, Black Canary's on the team, and Slade Wilson's on the team.
No.
Swear to God. Swear to God. Drew, did you
Like-
read that?
Drew's dead.
Drew
His
is dead.
computer doesn't like us.
I can't even remember who wrote it.
Yeah, you'll have to check because this 90s team was Chuck Dixon.
Oh, am I back? Oh.
There you
Oh,
are.
yeah, you're
Now
back.
Yeah.
And maybe you're gone.
Oh, am I here?
Oh,
Hello?
yeah, we can hear you.
You're
now.
here. Hello? Are you here? Or are we here? I'm here.
Look at
Hello?
They told me this America Online disc worked. I don't know why it's not working.
Bummer.
But
Still
I don't
waiting.
know who wrote the second volume of Stormwatcher and the New 52. I do know Chuck wrote the best ones from the 90s, but I'm kind of curious now to see who wrote this Team 7.
I was going to say Stormwatch or Team 7 because
I meant Team 7. Team 7 is what I meant.
Okay. Yeah, no, this has been fun. It's just like you can kind of turn your brain off and have a good time. So, but as opposed to like when we're reading Miracle Man, Alan Moore stuff, I'm like, got to turn your analysis brain on and just start thinking in a different way. But well, sweet. Yeah, that is what we are reading and watching currently. And then, yeah, like I alluded to, Josh and I will be watching some Buffy and Angel here pretty soon. We just got to nail down a time. We gotta see when like there's a good time, whether it's like after a live stream or maybe on a weekend night that we're not really doing anything, to where we can just hang out, spend 2 hours, and just kind of watch. Because those first 2 episodes, I want to watch those back to back.
Yeah,
So.
and it'll be easy. I think this past week we were both just slammed for the week.
Yeah.
I think I did 5 streams last week, and then
Yeah, that's right.
you had your. I didn't plan that out.
Yeah.
You had your exam that you were focusing on. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, well, sweet. Thank you guys again for such a fantastic evening.
Jordan. Sorry. Justin
I've
Jordan
never heard of that.
wrote the
Yeah.
Team 7
Jordan.
New 52.
I couldn't tell you anything else he's done. Not off the top of my head.
Right? Yeah. No clue. Well, once again, like I said, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this evening. This was a ton of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the topics that we covered. We talked a lot. We had a lot of different stuff to talk about tonight. So thank you guys for hanging out and enjoying. And thank you to all the wonderful guys who have super chatted and become members of the channel. You guys seriously make this so great for me to come on here and do the research or come up with different topics, get these guys together every weekend to talk about this stuff. So it is because of you that we get to do this. And so we really appreciate all that you guys do in terms of your support, your comments in the chat, your excitement to be here. We love it. So, and if you want to follow any of these guys, Josh's link is in the description of the video. Drew's link to his book is in the description, his link there. And Aaron's link, even though he was just here for a little bit, Aaron's Twitter is linked down below as well. So, all right. That'll be it for this evening. As always, reject modernity and embrace your legacy. We will see y'all next week. Thanks again, guys. Take care.